Okay, so I think we're live. It is, let's see, what time is it? It's 1:06. It's the 18th of May, 2025. We got Paula in here already. We got a lot of stuff to go over tonight. Hope everybody's having a good weekend so far. Hope everybody's safe. It's been a little bit of crazy, wacky weather lately here. Yep, I didn't even know this weekend was graduation weekend. Is that for college or is that time? Um, it's Mino Dino's here. Hey, buddy, what's going on? Carol's here. Good to see Carol. Hope everybody's well. Like I said, we've been getting some pretty wacky weather here. It's strange because it's going to go live. When was I going to go live? Thursday. And I was going to go live Thursday afternoon. But it was just too. It's Heather. Heather's here. Hey, Heather, how are you? Good to see you. But it was just too damn nice out. So, anyways, I'm gonna get going here. It's good to see everybody. I'll play an intro. Hold on a second. And then we'll get going. A lot of stuff to come over. The UNH this weekend, yesterday and today. We had some terrible weather. You guys got clocked, huh? I'm going to show some pictures here pretty soon. But anyways, let me play an intro. Let me get rid of my face. It's always good to see you, Heather. Hope you're well. Freaking great live this morning with Dirty Diana. She's awesome lives. But let me play an intro and I'll be right back and we'll get going. Good to see everybody. Like I said, hold on one second here. All right, so let me play this here and we'll be right back. All right, so here we are. Sweet dude Shibby's in here. Good to see you, buddy. Good to see Paula in here. Good to see Carol. Mino Dino. I know Heather's in here somewhere. Hope everybody's safe. It's been pretty crazy weather-wise. Hold on a second. Let me. I thought we were going to get rocked here tonight, but everything seemed to kind of either go around us or kind of avoid us here. But hopefully we can get outside pretty soon doing this. I know we had a couple of good days. Thursday and Friday were great. But you weren't. What was going on with you last night? Hope you're feeling better. It's Chuck. Charles is here. Did you go live tonight too, Charles? I know that I saw a notification. Just trying to get the house cleaned around here. All right, so let me get going here. Hold on one second here. I want to play a couple things first here. Hold on a second. This is weird. All right. I don't know if anybody's been following this missing persons case out of Nova Scotia, but I'm going to kind of try to cover that here too in a little bit, but I do want to play. Hold on a second here. Give me 2 seconds. I want to play this thing here first because we went over this case a couple of weeks ago, and apparently they have arrested somebody here. Hold on, let me find it again. Right here. Okay, hold on. So, all right. So let me share this here. I guess I'll do it after. Kenny Powers is here. Hey, buddy. Good to see you. I'm assuming that's Dan. Always good to see Dan in here. The bitch getting old. Hope you're all right, man. All right, so let me share this here. So we did this case out of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, a couple of weeks ago. Remember, we this person here. So a person of interest in the unaliving of Jenna Siebert, a 24-year-old woman unalived inside of her home in Rostraver Township last month, is in custody on unrelated charges, prosecutor announced. But remember, we kind of went over this case pretty briefly a few weeks ago, but I just wanted to play this here because they do have somebody who they believe might be associated with this in custody. So here we go. Nope.
Of a person of interest who's been taken into custody in connection with a... We begin tonight with breaking news. KDKA just confirmed the identity of a...
It just sucks too, because if it was last night, then I would have definitely been outside. It's Tracy Fleetwood's in here. Good to see Tracy. Hope everybody's doing well. Like I said, always good to see Tracy in here. Always good to see Charles in here. Sweets in here. We'll be doing our collab here probably next week. There's just so many other things going on here. Let's see here. So let's continue with this here.
Person of interest who's been taken into custody in connection with a homicide investigation. We first reported to you last month that police were searching for a man caught on surveillance as a person of interest in the killing of Jenna Siebert. And tonight we're learning more about who that man is and where police tracked him down. Thanks for joining us at 6. I'm Megan Schiller.
And I'm Ken Rice. Investigative reporter Erica Stanish is at the Rostraver Police Department with new details confirmed just in the last hour.
Sources tell KDKA that person of interest is 39-year-old Dorian Jerry Green. He had a warrant for his arrest out of Washington County for burglary, and he was taken into custody this week in Florida. This is our first look at Dorian Jerry Green. Sources tell KDKA he's a person of interest in the death of Jenna Siebert. Siebert was found shot to death inside her Rostraver home in April. Her car stolen and later located about 8 miles away in Monongahela. The Westmoreland County District Attorney's Office released these surveillance photos just days later, identifying a person of interest caught on video at a convenience store near where Siebert's car was dumped. The DA's office confirming to KDKA this man is the man taken into custody this week on charges unrelated to Siebert's case. KDKA has now learned Jerry Green was taken into custody by the Hillsborough County Sheriff's Department.
Well, this is just a really strange case because, apparently out of the blue, he just decided, but I'm sure there'll be more details coming out soon about this whole thing, but this is just really weird here.
Florida on a warrant out of Washington County. The City of Tampa Police Department telling KDKA Jerry Green was picked up by police officers assigned to the U.S. Marshal Task Force. According to police paperwork, Jerry Green was wanted out of Donora for charges including robbery, burglary, receiving stolen property, and strangulation after he...
So this is apparently another different case here. This was back, I believe this is February here. This guy's not a good dude here.
allegedly broke into a home on Allen Avenue and assaulted a woman inside before taking off through a neighbor's yard with a hatchet in hand. Sources confirm Jerry Green was taken into custody in Florida, and sources confirm he is the person of interest in Siebert's case. No charges have been filed yet in Siebert's case, but police here say there is no further threat to the community. Reporting in Ross Draper, Westmoreland County, Erica.
So this was done 3 days ago.
Stanish, KDKA TV News.
Let's see here. Is this the same? No, that's a different one. I thought I had two of these, but I guess not. All right, so I'll keep an eye on that, but obviously strange, but he has a habit of doing this, it looks like. So why does it always have to be Florida? Exactly. So it's so strange. Most of these guys, when they flee, they go to Florida. It's so amazing. It's not the first time. All right, so I do want to play some of this video from hold on a second. Let me hold on one second. This is going to come from Missouri, I think. Hold on a second here, because this is one of the reasons why I was going to come do a live. I think it was yesterday, partially because of the inmates that have escaped down in New Orleans, but this other shit too, the tornadoes. But this is this came out, what was this, a few hours ago. This is some of the destruction here. I think this is this might be Missouri. Let me read it here. A violent tornado spawning storm system tore across the United States, leaving at least 21 people unalive. Missouri and Southeast Kentucky. Yep. But there was more in Illinois and Indiana too. But this is some of the. I mean, this place has just been leveled. I believe this is Missouri here, but I could be wrong.
Deadly tornado outbreak has killed at least 21 people across the central U.S. and left a massive trail of devastation in its path. The storms leveled homes, uprooted trees, brought down power lines across a dozen states from Michigan to Alabama. And video from hard-hit Laurel County, Kentucky, shows residents and first responders searching through piles of debris and mangled vehicles. They're looking for victims. Governor Andy Beshear says at least 14 people died in the southeastern part of the state, and he expects the number to climb. Here's how one resident described the storm's impact.
I went in the house.
You guys are all awesome. You guys are all fantastic. It's always good to see everybody here. I hope Heather's well. I hope you're okay, Heather.
And I looked out the side window, and when I started on the side window, it looked like all that stuff was coming from up. Instead of I couldn't see the tail or nothing, but it just lifted like it's lifting everything up. So I got in the hallway and put my hands over everybody, and it started blowing the windows out. And you talking about praying? I prayed harder than anything I could ever do.
That came after a devastating tornado hit Missouri Friday afternoon, killing at least 5. 2 other storm-related deaths were reported in another part of the state. I want to bring in now CNN correspondent Julia Vargas Jones, who is on the ground right now in hard-hit St. Louis, Missouri. Julia, what are you hearing from people there?
Well, we're hearing just how scary it was to go through that. Imagine that, Fred. Winds of up to 100 miles an hour. And this is the result, right? Entire roofs just swept out homes. We talked about downed trees. We're seeing downed tree after downed tree, uprooted large trunks of trees. Over here, a downed power line. We already saw some crews from the utility company coming to survey this area to take a look and see what they can do. It's still pretty dangerous. I'm not going to go into this area over here. Siding from homes, parts of utilities, roofing from homes. This building right here, we did speak to a neighbor earlier saying she was here to help clean up other neighbors' homes who were even more destroyed than hers. That was a whole other story on that building there that got completely swept off. All of this debris still on the streets. We're seeing crews coming out here with.
This is just absolutely awful. All right, I'm going to try to play one of these overhead views of a drone because some of these videos don't give it enough credit for what these things do. You're one of my favorite people on the planet. I'm constantly trying to make sure I find out how you're doing, but you're always welcome in here, that's for sure. Heather's an amazing person. Just hope you're feeling okay. Let's go back to this here.
Big machines to start to clear it out. We're also still seeing first responders. You can probably hear the sirens still around here, surveying this area, looking for people that might still be missing. And we heard from both the mayor and from the governor at this hour. Take a listen to what they said.
We are obviously still grieving. The governor and I just got done some of the hardest hit areas here. The devastation is truly tremendous.
We're putting all hands on deck to make sure that we can assist the city and local authorities as much as possible. I would echo the mayor's response or comments that our first responders, both in fire and police, have been incredible heroes in this moment. And this is when you really see the goodness of Missouri, when you see these men and women step up and help their friends and neighbors that they've never met, just try to restore some essential services.
And Fred, that is what we're seeing here in this residential neighborhood of St. Louis. People just picking up brooms and rakes and trying to clean up to help their friends and neighbors and their local businesses to try and get back on their feet, open their doors. There is a curfew that will be in place tonight from 9 p.m. until 6 o'clock local. And as we mentioned earlier, this storm is winding down, but another one picking up just a few states south of here in the coming days.
Right. Still very volatile situation.
So yesterday's system, it's basically a battle of two different fronts. You had low pressure and then high pressure down to, the south, the Gulf feeding, heavy moisture. Like it's been really, really warm here for the last few days, and that's coming from the Gulf here. But then you have low pressure systems that come across the country and then just spin up, and you have two different warm and cold air, and that's where that boundary set up yesterday. Then we got some of it tonight here in New England, but I know some places got hit pretty hard. We didn't get anything here, just a little bit of stuff.
Thank you so much, Julia Vargas Jones in St. Louis. And even in Chicago, take a look at this incredible time.
Look at this. This is a dust storm here. It's like,
lapse footage showing a rare dust storm covering Chicago. The National Weather Service.
It's Honeybee. Honeybee is in here. Where is she? There she is. Honeybee. Honeybee's amazing. Hi, everyone. Stopping in and doing my disappearing act. Miss you all. We miss you too. I don't think it's a disappearing act. I think it's just that you're probably tired. It's already 1:30 here, so it's good to see you, though. Always good to see Honeybee in the chat. Hope you're doing all right. Hope you're feeling good. Stay safe. It's been pretty crappy weather. It's going to get really cold here this next upcoming week here. I wouldn't be surprised if we had a frost at some point later this week. Always good to see Honeybee in here. Good to see everybody.
It says winds of up to 70 miles an hour blew over from dry farmlands blowing into the Windy City. All right, St. Louis, Missouri. Take a
look at this house. Like, how do you do this? How do you live like this? It's all of a sudden, it's just no wall here. Oh.
Look at this right here. What would you feel like just seeing your home, which an entire side of the home just swept away?
So these were, I posted a thing in my community page about the storms in Indiana because they'd already pretty much destroyed parts of Missouri and Kentucky. But this is all brick here.
Collapsing as a result of these storms. It does look like a dollhouse, doesn't it? Well, it is the home of Joan Miller. And you can see right up at the top there, this house was hit and devastated by the storm.
That's a car. underneath this tree limb here. These are cars.
Ravaged. Joe Miller is with us now. You were in your home, Judge. Tell us about your entire experience. Did you know this, storm was coming? Were you, bracing for it? Just take me back.
Okay, Frederica.
Yeah, around here in New England, they tell you not to plant until after the final full moon of May. So we could get frost here. I mean, all the way into late May for sure. They usually don't tell you to plant until after or right around Memorial Day. Is that what they call them? Rolling machines. "6 days ICU pacemaker alive." Oh, you poor thing. Oh, well, we're kind of glad you're alive here. That sucks. Always good to see Honeybee in here. Who keep us informed there for sure. Honeybee is an amazing, amazing person.
I was at the office, which is in suburban St. Louis in Olivet, and working in the afternoon, and I saw that the clouds were forming. And earlier in the day, they said the weather was going to be violently terrible. So I decided to go home and finish working from home. And I got home, I got my laptop going, and I turned on the TV, and there was nothing but just weather alerts. And after a few minutes, the electricity went out.
This car. It should be laughing. I mean, this thing is, I don't know if you get insurance for this stuff here, but hopefully these people do, because this car here is pretty much totaled.
And so my husband and I were just sitting there, and there's a big sweet gum tree in front of my house that started swaying violently. And that happens a lot when there's storms, but this was something highly unusual. So I stood up and I started backing away from the windows. And I told David, get up, get up, get up. And he was just transfixed looking outside. And so I just backed away, and he finally got up. We were in the hallway. And as soon as we got in the hallway, all the other doors, this is on the second floor, shut, just like in the movie Carrie, when all the doors shut in the gym. And there was a bathroom door open. We went in there, shut the door, and just seconds later, maybe 10 seconds later, we opened.
That's awful. 30 stage 2 heart block. I'll have to look that up. No, you're nice, Honeybee. You're amazing. Let's see here. Scary. Is she getting a pacer? It could be caused by ticks. Really? Car looks better than my New Yorker, right? That's terrible, Tracy. That's awful. All right, let's go back to this here. Look at this.
Opened the bathroom door, and the whole back of the house was gone. Wow. Now, my house was built in 1912. They're triple bricks of good old St. Louis red bricks. And I never had any fear of anything happening to that house with a storm because of where I live and the sound structure of the house. But the entire back of the house, first floor and second floor, are gone. There was a back porch that's also gone. Wow. And the front of the house, all the windows were blue.
Look at this. You can tell this is kind of like a twister here because, I mean, across the street, there's nothing, not one brick moved, right? But across the street, it's completely destroyed.
Blown out. But like I said, the entire back of the house was gone.
I mean, that is incredible. And I mean, thank goodness for you and your husband's instinct, though, once all these doors were shutting, just that pressure that happens, just preceding a tornado sweeping into an area, that you had the instinct then to go.
Mustang's here. Mustang 65 is here. Good to see you, Mustang. Always good to see you here. Had a lot of heart issues after the shot. Hardball and softball size. I don't think I've ever seen like baseball size hail. That's what they told me in the hospital. Tick's one reason. Really? Did you have a tick? Do you think you had a tick? The ticks are bad this year. Ticks are horrible. Good to see Kenny Powers in here. He was in here earlier. He's kind of like some of the other people I know. They come in and they just disappear. But good to see Dan in here. Good to see everybody in here.
Into a bathroom, because that usually is the instruction, right? To go into a smaller, tight kind of space like a bathroom. And thank goodness you did that.
Well, really, it was the only room where the door hadn't shut. And we didn't have time to run down to the basement. That would have been, going down 2 stories. It was just, hey, this door is open. Let's jump in it. I mean, I guess we could have been in a closet, but it was just one of.
They always make it seem like people have like 1,000 hours of time, to figure these things out, because they always say get into a bathroom, get into an interior wall house. I mean, it's just when these things hit, you don't have 5 or 6 hours to think about what you're going to do, man. Where is Dee? It's good to have the pacer as an option. The procedure is fairly straightforward. They don't even give you anesthesia, just a sleeping potion. We'll take the sleeping potion. I'm not falling for ball picks. You guys are terrible. Look out sliding in some of the roof. I'll shake my head, yeah.
Of those things, and very scary. And the weird thing was there was no rain, no hail, just wind.
Wow. And we see
that's not unusual. It's not unusual for there not to be rain. That's what I mean. It's weird how sometimes people just associate tornadoes with rain, but it's not always the case.
Just that pile of those bricks there. But that wind, obviously very damaging. So how shaken up are you and your husband? I mean, you seem so poised and at ease right now, especially given, what you've been through. And yes, I mean, your lives were spared and saved there, but how are you?
If you're in Tornado Alley, hold on a second. Let me pull this up here. Especially between, I wonder if anybody's going to be able to see this. Hold on a second. Let me get out of this for a second. All right. So this is basically, Tornado Alley here. In my opinion, Tornado Alley is kind of drifting a little bit more east than it used to be. But these are the states typically. And I would say between the months of March and June, and some of the months sometimes you can get some stuff in early fall. But if you live anywhere in these vicinities here, especially the corridor, which is, Kansas, obviously with the movie, Oklahoma, parts of Western Tennessee, all the way up through the Midwest here, pretty much. You need to have some sort of a plan early, like now. And that's one of the things that you can prepare yourself for is that, in those months here, if you hear, especially if you live in a state that you can get, warnings and stuff, that might help you out a little bit to have some sort of an idea of where you're going to go just in case something does happen. But sometimes these people get no warnings whatsoever. Let me hold on a second here. Let me stop this here. Here we go.
I'm feeling overwhelmed. I go between being overwhelmed, shocked, teary. I'm still thinking about, my plans for this week, my Smith College reunion.
So you got more tests this week, Heather? I thought breast cancer, but the turns just to be one place. There was, yes, I have. Oh, that's awful.
This next weekend, I was planning on going on Thursday and then spending some theater tickets in New York after that, and then an ABA meeting. And
all right, I don't need to hear a
Early
conversation
happy
here. So let's hold on a second. Let me see if I can find more. Let's do this one right here. This was let's do this here.
Let's get right to our Shaquille Lord, who spent the day in London, Kentucky. And Shaq, that area really seems to be ground zero.
Yeah, that's exactly right, Rick. I'm off of Old Whitley Road, and I'm going to try my best to put into words this destruction that we've been seeing here. Debris, piles of people's homes. We're talking about toys. We're talking about clothes, all in different piles because their homes have been completely destroyed. I spoke with one woman about 20-30 minutes ago. She told me she took her kids into a car and then drove off a block as this tornado touched down. She simply said, Shaq, I don't know if many of my neighbors made it. There's still a number of people unaccounted for as you're seeing this cleanup process being completed. Now, we spoke to Governor Andy Beshear. He said he's dealt with around 14 natural disasters. This is the most difficult one. Right now, 18 confirmed deaths, 17 here in Laurel County, as you all.
It's Dirty Diana's here. Charles hooked you up. Good to see you, Dirty Diana. Awesome live this morning. Excellent show. She always has great shows. Here's my email, DDD. Yeah, I'm really bad at the notification thing. I should probably get better than that, but what are you going to do? Good to see you, though. Go here. I mean, this place is completely destroyed here.
I'll just mention, but we're told that number is expected to increase. Now, in addition to the death toll, at least 10 people, we're told, are still in critical condition. All efforts right now on the search and rescue operations. Again, we can't stress this enough. There is still a number of people that are unaccounted for. Hundreds of homes damaged, some even leveled last night as this destruction took place.
We just finished a tour. It's hard to see. Homes that are in a single wall, left standing. Some homes that have all four walls, yet lost the person inside. You can not only see the destruction, but feel it. But at almost every single one of these plots, you see 10.
Lisa Joe. Good to see you, Lisa Joe. Hope you're well. Hope everybody's well. Hope Dirty Diana's well. Honeybee's in the chat too. That's always amazing. All right, so
11 or 12 people helping out.
Yeah, and right now you're seeing a number of volunteers here giving back their time to help those.
I hope I don't think it hit Arkansas, did it? So hopefully Southern Gal's all right. I know there's a couple people in here from Wisconsin though, so hopefully they're okay. We'll do a little bit more of this and we'll move on to something else.
those in need, and they're going to need a lot of help over these next coming days, weeks, and months. Now, on the federal level, the governor says he's been in touch with the White House, FEMA, federal officials to get the process started on getting funds. Senate President Robert Stivers also said state lawmakers will be ready to answer the call to distribute funds as well. Now, one thing I do want to mention, and the governor touched on this, as well as the Laurel County Sheriff, looting. There will be a police.
What is waxing hive frames? Is that got something to do with bees? Wisconsin, enough said. It's freaking funny. It's lighting the way home. Good to see you. It's always good to see lighting the way home in here. PJ's here. She has some great lives too. She has a great channel. Feel free to throw all your channels in here if you want. Yes, bees, honeybees. We're dealing with wildfires in northern Minnesota. It was close. Are those wildfires from Canada or Minnesota? PJ's got a great channel. Lighting Their Way Home's got a great channel too. Feel free, like I said, to throw the chats in here. Like I said, I hope Southern Gal's okay. Although I think she did post some stuff tonight, or later yesterday night. What happened to Tracy's baby? What baby? Why is the sheriff looting? I don't know. I noticed that too. I have no idea.
Police presence in areas that have been hit hard to prevent criminals from trying to prey on people who are going through the worst possible.
Well, last year, was it last year or the year before that? All of those Canadian wildfires. She has something wrong with her heart, I think. Yeah, that's terrible. I saw Don earlier in Arctic's live stream. Okay, good. Thank you, Mr. Joe. Dino was showing his yikes. Well, he does have an OnlyFans channel. She can have my heart too. I don't know if it's going to be good enough, but if you don't mind. Things you'll do for your kids.
Possible time, maybe of their entire lives. For right now, reporting live, I'm Shaquille Lord. Rick, will send it back to you.
All right, Shaq, so sad to see all that damage. And another look at that devastation.
Rogue comb. I'll have to look that stuff up. I love bees. It's just no bees anymore. They're all gone. Don't make Wayne Brady have to choke a bitch. It's fucking hilarious. Catching up. Are you good, Dirty Diana? Hope you're well. All right.
In London, Kentucky, WLKY News chopper
What's a plane?
flew over the destruction at the London Corbin Airport. Several vintage planes can be seen upended, flipped, and even
this sucks.
Smashed. The local medical helicopter was also destroyed. Medical supplies were left scattered across the field, and hangars and other buildings were leveled. Officials told WLKY that at least one plane got sucked up into the funnel cloud.
And when that tornado began its path of destruction in Laurel County, people living there had to take shelter quickly. Sam Carter met one family now faced with the task of rebuilding.
The house over my left shoulder is the Watts house, destroyed by a tornado during last night's storms. Thankfully, they made it out alive, but now they and so many others in Laurel County are picking up the pieces.
Late Friday night, Mahala Watts was in the home she shares with her mother and father when all of a sudden the trio.
This is the one I saw the other day, yesterday.
Had to run for their lives from an oncoming storm.
I grabbed my dog and we got in our bathroom that's right in the center of the house, and immediately we started to hear it and we got
JC Ann's in the house. Hey JC, good to see you. She didn't notice the love, Dave, and it was lazy on the invite. Hey, JC Ann's in the chat. She's awesome too. Great channel. Yes, this is I think this might be in Missouri here. This is part of this one here. They all got destroyed though. Kentucky, Missouri. All she wants to do is online shop. Oh,
Got down on our hands and knees, and all of a sudden it just rushed over top of us, breathing in all the debris.
The Watts family eventually made it out of that bathroom only to discover the house in utter ruin. The power of the storm not only leveling the home, but leaving behind it a path of destruction.
this truck, they're going to show, I think he's going to show this truck just on top of this car. Oh,
That's my car. It
Oh my
was,
God.
yeah, it was under a carport.
this car was under a carport. It's just so weird.
Carport's gone. My dad's truck was actually over there in the yard.
It could have been far worse for Mahala and her mother and father. As for what's next for the Watts family,
I have no idea. Right now, like, we got a hotel for the night, but I mean, we
These people are lucky to be alive here.
didn't sleep. My dog is just hanging out there, and we're just kind of sorting through our stuff. I have no idea.
The house totally destroyed. The only thing left to do now, pick up the pieces, a process that could take months, maybe even years. In Laurel County, Sam Carter, WLKY News.
All right, so that's the end of that. Let's see this one. This is quick. We'll play this one. This is drone footage here. Honeybee's leaving. It's always good to see you, Honeybee. Hope you're well. Hope you feel better. Honeybee's an amazing person. She's got a great channel. She's just awesome. Have a great week, Honeybee. Stay safe. Let us know what's going on. It's always good to see you. You could tell this is tornado. Like if you look, like there's some damage here, and then literally across the street, there's nothing at all wrong with any of these homes. So it touches down, and it just kind of waddles around and just destroys things in its path. It's just so weird how these things do that. It's like you get damage here, just. But some of these homes around, some of these just haven't even been touched. Look at this here. This whole just leveled. This one place is just leveled. This other one is pretty much nothing wrong with it. Same here. That's just terrible. That's awful. These people are going to, hopefully, Charles Manson is in here. That's awesome. All right, let's move on to something else. I just wanted to cover this a little bit here. Let's see here. I do want to go to this clown here. I don't know if you guys remember the Alex Murdaugh case here, but this town clerk is really starting to face some of the repercussions of what she did anyways. So Alex Murdaugh, remember he got sentenced last year to all of his shit. Becky Hill, former Colton County clerk of court in Alex Murda's double murder trial has been charged with 4 felonies. She's the one that's being accused of basically butting in on the jury deliberations. That a disgraced lawyer asked for a new trial. Hill is also accused of using her office to promote her failed book. So the book failed and other crimes. So the whole time this case was going on, she had a book deal. And she wanted it to end so she could get this is allegedly anyway, so she could get the down payment for the book rights. Now she's going to be going to jail for it. So thankfully, she's going to get her day.
No, ma'am.
That testimony
She's such a freaking liar. This lady is such a liar.
from Becky Hill, the clerk of court during Alec Murdaugh's double murder trial, has landed her in jail, charged with perjury. And it's not the only charge Hill is facing. So could this lead to Alec Murdaugh getting one of Murdaugh's attorneys is here? Welcome to Crime Fix. I'm Anjanette Levy. It's been more than 2 years. Disgraced lawyer Alec Murdaugh.
Well, that changes that. I thought Charles Manson was actually Chuck, but Chuck is in here. And so isn't Charles Manson. So Miranda, not feeling too great. My symptoms. Miranda's in here. Where's Miranda? Hey, Miranda, how are you? Good to see you. How is Miranda too? Not feeling too great. My symptoms are getting worse and worse. Just need to start. Oh, that sucks, Heather. It's good to see Miranda though too. Yeah, this woman here, she's just such a liar.
Murdaugh guilty of murdering his wife Maggie and son Paul on their lavish hunting estate in South Carolina's Low Country. And now the clerk of court, who was intimately involved.
Look at her face. She just, some people deplore me. This is one of them. Like, she almost cost this whole trial.
In overseeing the exhibits in the trial, the planning around it, and the jurors deliberating Murdaugh's fate, has been charged with 4 felonies. Becky Hill is no longer the clerk of court. She declined to run for re-election after she came under a cloud of suspicion after writing a book after Murdaugh's conviction. Then she admitted to plagiarizing part of that book, and Amazon pulled it. South Carolina's law enforcement division began investigating Hill.
Thanks, my brother. I really appreciate it. I think I only have 6 actual accounts. I might have more. Who knows? So you're good, Miranda? We love Miranda too. Miranda's awesome.
Months after the trial, when rumors started swirling that Hill may have used her position as clerk of court to publicize and write her book.
You think?
Then there was another rumor that she may have used federal funds for bonuses. The rumors were enough to spark ethics complaints and a criminal investigation.
They say there isn't conspiracy, right? I've got a few thousand at least. Yeah, I know you got quite a bit. That's all right, though. Charles in charge. You don't even know how to make another account, I'm sure. It's not that difficult, but it's probably pretty difficult. Yes. Especially with jurors, because they, like, all they have to do is say something and then.
And the rumors piqued the interest of Alec Murdaugh's attorneys.
Then there were rumblings about the jury and the egg lady juror who was dismissed.
Some people are just dumb.
In the middle of closing arguments. It turns out Becky Hill was talking to that juror and
she's smiling,
asking her a lot of questions. That also piqued the interest of Murdaugh's attorneys. Alec Murdaugh is serving 2 life sentences without the possibility of parole for the murders of Maggie and Paul. But he and his lawyers maintain he did not get a fair trial. They believe Becky Hill tampered with the jury, and they point to her book as Exhibit A. Here's Justice Jean Toll questioning Becky Hill at a hearing in January of 2024.
Well, in your book, you suggest that the guilty verdict was what you wanted, and you were fearful that
I didn't know he got married. I know he was dating somebody, but
that a guilty verdict would not be rendered. You say that a lot about your feeling about wanting a guilty verdict, do you not?
I do agree that that is said in the book. And part of that is because I think it was a guilty verdict.
Well, this is you were describing a time way before the verdict was rendered when you wrote about those things in the book. Isn't that correct?
It is, yes.
And you even have something where you said your eyes met with jurors at Moselle and y'all had an understanding, unspoken, that he was guilty. You said that in the book, did you not?
I did say that in the book, and I would consider that part of the literary, the word that we just said. But there was nothing spoken with a juror at all at Moselle or anywhere else at the courthouse or anywhere. I think that's part of that poetic license that we write to make something more apparent. But at no time did I read or try to read someone else's eyes, and that was just one of those gut feelings.
when I get in trouble here, I get called Buster. Like, hey, Buster, what do you think you're doing? Not today, Buster.
that I wrote in the book.
In the end, Justice Toll determined that anything Becky Hill said didn't influence the jury with the comments she made to them. But Murdaugh's attorneys disagreed, and they're appealing to South Carolina's Supreme Court. So why is Becky Hill facing criminal charges? Well,
the whole freaking Murdaugh thing is just never, ever, ever going to end. We're going to be hearing about this for the length of our lifetime. It's just never going to go away, ever.
Investigators with SLED say she committed perjury in another exchange with Justice Toll about sealed exhibits for Murdaugh's trial.
Did you ever allow anyone from the press to view these sealed exhibits?
No, ma'am.
Did you allow Netflix to ever examine the exhibits for trial?
No, ma'am.
This is a law and crime legal alert. Did you know that children are being diagnosed with SLED? Say that statement by Hill was a lie. Justice Toll pressed Becky Hill about the sealed exhibits because some members of the media received copies of them.
How did you handle exhibits? Because you did have the press have great access to the exhibits. And you say several times in your book that you had to stay after to be sure that you interacted with the press about these exhibits. That's true, is it not?
That is true. We had Mr. Jay Bender, then we had the pool photographers and someone from maybe the state, I believe, or the Posting Courier, along with the court reporters, someone from court administration, and then someone from the clerk's office every night that would go over the exhibits to make sure everything was correct and within our domain.
Were any press people ever allowed to view the exhibits, even the sealed exhibits that you had on file?
No, ma'am. No, ma'am.
What was the methodology for allowing them to examine the exhibits? How did you handle that?
I wasn't there a whole lot, did this every night, but it's my understanding that the people that were involved with the exhibits, and especially the court reporters, and there was a certain time frame that they were allowed to take their pictures, and everything was, all of the pictures were looked at by the court reporters that were there and the lady from court administration, along with someone from my office.
Sounds like she's reading from a book, like she's like rehearsed this.
And Mr. Jay Bender, to make sure that everything was done correctly.
What I'm asking is how you handled having them, the press, view these exhibits.
If I remember correctly, the press, we had certain designated photographers and then someone, I think, from the state or the Posting Courier And they were responsible for putting it out on a stream for the rest of the media to
And would
access.
they do that by photographing the exhibits as they were in your possession after court was over that day?
That is correct.
All right. And how did you handle the sealed exhibits in terms of their availability when these press people?
In my opinion, he probably would have gotten away with it if he didn't take the stand. That's just my opinion. If he didn't take the stand, they probably would have, because I think one or two of the jurors was not 100% sure before that, but he'll probably get another trial. I wouldn't doubt it. That wasn't the judge for his trial. No, the other judge. There was another comment I missed here. Yes, he was an idiot for taking. I really haven't seen a really good judge in a long time. People just don't shut up. That's the problem. People just insist upon testifying, and it's just so weird.
Well, they're photographing exhibits.
They stayed sealed.
And so you think that you're aware of the fact that some of these on the scene photographs of the.
It's a good song. Yes, I've seen bigger idiots take the stand too. Like I said, people just refuse to shut up. They just, they go into court and they just feel like they have to tell their story. And, you're dealing with professional lawyers here and they can turn anything you say against you. It's so weird.
The two decedents found their way into the public press. You're aware of that, are you not?
Yes, ma'am, I am. Yes.
After that testimony, Murdoch's lawyer, Dick Harpootlian, pulled up an email showing that Becky Hill knew that the media had received sealed exhibits.
But what it is an email from Rebecca Hill to Miho Takeuchi, something. Miho, first name, the Buford McDowell body cam should not have gone to you. Please get rid of it. Do not use it. The Judge Newman, specifically ordered that body cam not be used if it got out. Apparently, they're still on the videos we were saved. I appreciate your attention. What about what about the other body cam video we could see on many news documentaries? Can you provide it? It seems the camera was on the other police personnel. I mean, here she's having emails between this Japanese production company about body cams telling them to get rid of it. I think that's important. And I can.
You think? Look at everybody's face.
Have a copy of this printed out for you when we can get it to a printer.
You just can't make this stuff up. You just can't.
For the record.
That would be fine, but do you want to offer it as an exhibit?
I do.
All right, Mr. Waters?
I have no objection. If I could just ask the date of that.
The date is July 17th, 2023. Show on. Yeah, July.
All right, that's one thing. What else? I will admit it. I will allow it. That is a.
I'm trying to think of who she sounds like. She sounds like somebody famous. I can't put my finger on it, but she sounds somebody very famous.
Impeachment of her testimony to me that she did not send any emails or release anything.
Yes, sir.
In fact, she changed that testimony on redirect when she said she did, so-called by accident, release some things.
That doesn't appear to be by accident. So we'd like that made part of the record. Secondly, I have sitting outside the courtroom the clerk of court for Barnwell County, Rhonda McElvey. She specifically denied saying certain things to the clerk of court of Barnwell County and denied doing certain things. I think you're going to find her testimony extraordinarily instructive and educational. And it shouldn't take, I would be shocked if it took 20 minutes.
in light of the answers she gave to my questions and some of yours in that regard, I'm going to allow it.
After Hill's testimony, Murdaugh sat grasping his hands. Then the clerk of court from Barnwell County testified.
During that, before the trial, before we ever picked a jury, did she ever discuss with you that
This was done, hold on a second, this was done 2 days ago, so yeah.
she was going to write a book?
Yes, sir. She wanted to write a book. Yes, sir.
Wanted to write a book. Did she indicate what the book was going to be about?
About the trial.
About the Murdaugh trial?
Yes, sir.
And did she discuss with you, what if anything did she discuss with you about how?
Isn't it, some of these courts are like really pretty progressive here. It's like 100,000 people in this courtroom. It's amazing.
She felt the verdict should turn out to be in reference to the book. What would help the book?
A guilty verdict.
And tell the judge and me what exactly she said to you that you remember. This is prior to the trial.
Okay. Well, first of all, she said we might want to write a book because she needed a lake house and I needed to retire. And then further conversations, a guilty verdict would sell more books. And we left it at that. This was before, even in December.
And when did she ever say that again to you during this?
Yep, folks, this stuff actually goes on. So whatever you do, don't get arrested in South Carolina because it's not going to go well. It's scary. It is very scary. It's Judge Gall should take lessons, cameras, clear audio. Yep. Absolutely.
The weeks you spent there?
Several times. It could be said it was, amongst friends in her office, or we might be having dinner, that kind of stuff, but that's about it.
That she needed a guilty verdict to sell more books.
That would be the best way to sell books, yes, sir.
The best way to sell books. Now, during this process, did she ever express to you an opinion on whether or not, in fact, was Mr. Murdaugh guilty of the murders of
The
his
guy right here was just sleeping.
son and his wife?
Yes, sir.
Tell me what she said, and if you remember when.
I don't exactly remember when. I know it's over half of the trial had already happened, but the evidence was coming forth that it looked like he might be guilty. And she made a comment that guilty verdict would be better for the sale of books.
Rhonda McElveen's testimony then turned to contact that Becky Hill had with the jurors.
Okay. Now, as a result of a conversation you had sometime during the trial, I don't want you to relay to me what was told you. Did you have a discussion with the clerk, Becky Hill, about her being with jurors on her own?
Yes, sir, I did. One morning I showed up to Collin County and I was told that she had taken a juror home the night before. I was in the courtroom when I saw her, and it was between the pews and where the back row pews are. And I mentioned to Miss Becky, I said, please tell me you didn't take a juror home last night.
Oh my God.
And she told me, she says, I did, but I didn't talk about the case. I had a bailiff with me. Mr. Bill was with me. I said, Becky, you don't do things like that. I thought we had stopped everything. It wasn't far enough along to really.
You can't make them tell me this is just, people are just so dumb.
Cause a major problem, or I would have told Judge Newman, but I thought we had to understand that you did not spend time alone with the jurors.
Now, at the end of the hearing, Justice Toll found that Becky Hill was not credible. Those were her words. But she denied Alec Murdaugh's request for a new trial, as I mentioned earlier. But SLED's investigation was not over. And this week, Becky Hill was charged with felonies, including perjury and misconduct in office. A warrant states, in Richland County, South Carolina, on or about January 29, 2024, Mary Rebecca H. Hill, being the elected clerk of court of Colleton County, did
It's perjury, false testimony under oath. Yep.
willfully and unlawfully give false, misleading, or incomplete testimony while under oath in a court of record. During the hearing, former Clerk Hill did willfully and unlawfully lawfully give false and misleading testimony when Chief Justice Jean Toll asked former Clerk Hill, "Did you allow anyone from the press to view the sealed exhibits?" And Hill responded, "No, ma'am. This statement was inconsistent with the events of February 28, 2023, when former Clerk Hill did release or make available sealed evidence, photographs to a third party or parties." Hill also faces misconduct in office charges and obstruction charges, one involving an allegation that she failed to protect the sealed exhibits, and another about her book. The warrant states, on or about June 7th, 2023, Mary Rebecca Hill did promote a book in which she was an author, Behind the Doors of Justice, The Murdaugh Murders, while using her public office to promote the aforesaid book on social media. Such act being for her own financial
You wonder how many other times this person's done stuff like this. That's the problem, right?
gain and in violation of her duties, in violation of the laws of the state of South Carolina. Affiant's belief is based upon video evidence, statements, and SLED investigation. Hill is also accused of using federal funds meant to support child support enforcement to give herself a bonus.
No.
The warrant states, on or about September 1st, 2021 through March 5th, 2024, Mary Rebecca Hill, being the elected clerk of court of Colleton County, Hill requested and then received $9,880.10 in financial bonuses for herself that were paid from the Title 4D incentive funds.
This is basically how not to do your job.
Such funds were obtained by Hill and utilized for her own financial gain. Furthermore, on or about March 5th, 2024, Hill received a financial gift and or bonus in the amount of $2,000 paid by a check from the Colleton County Clerk of Court's office funds and utilized for her own financial gain in violation of her duties.
So to discuss this major development, I want to bring in Dick Harpootlian. He is one of Alec Murdaugh's attorneys. So Dick, I want to know, how are you feeling about this development with Becky Hill's arrest? She has now been charged formally with perjury. Basically, they believe she lied to Justice Toll. You believe at the time last year.
What is the penalty for perjury? I'll look that up. Hold on a second. In South Carolina, right? Hold on. Let me check this out here.
During the hearing that she lied to Justice Toll when you presented that email from the Japanese film crew. So how is this going to impact the appeal?
Well, I think clearly Justice Toll didn't find her credible, but not being credible and lying under oath are two different things. She not only, she's been charged. A prosecutor believes beyond a reasonable doubt she lied under oath about giving.
All right, so hold on a second. In South Carolina, perjury or lying under oath is a felony offense punishable by up to 5 years in prison and a fine, the amount of which is determined by the court. If the perjury involves false, misleading information on a required document or record, it's a misdemeanor, punishable by up to 6 months. So my guess is probably, I don't know, maybe a year suspended, maybe probation, who knows?
Giving certain sealed materials to a Japanese film crew or other people. She testified during that proceeding that she never said anything to either one of the jurors that testified. They say she attempted to influence them. One of them said it did influence her. She said never happened. So it just seems to me that her any shred of credibility or any shred of giving a decision that relies on anything she said ought to go out the window. So Jim Griffin and I talked after we had a chance to examine the warrants yesterday, and we believe that this should help us in our appeal.
Yeah, he's going to get a new trial, no doubt.
To file anything with the South Carolina Supreme Court, some type of addendum or something like that, because she now has been formally charged?
Well, so the process is on January 8th, we filed our formal appeal briefs and exhibits. They have till August 8th, the state, till August 8th to respond to that. And then we get 30 days after that to respond to their response. So in that
response to their response, we will obviously fold this in.
Were you surprised at how long it took for the charges to be filed? Because we knew for a very long time, from at least before you filed your motion for a new trial back in September of 2023, that she was under suspicion for ethics violations, that there was a lot circulating out there. There were a lot of rumors about what she was doing with the book. And even at the end of the trial, I remember hearing very clearly that she was talking with the four-woman on the jury.
The thing is, like I say, does she even get caught if it wasn't for these two lawyers, right? Like if you just had, if you weren't Alex Murdaugh, you didn't have these types of lawyers here that were on top of these things, right? Would she have even been caught? Probably not.
There was a lot out there. And then we knew there was a criminal investigation. Are you surprised that it took this long for charges to be filed? We know that these investigations can take a long time, but it's been well over a year since the hearing, that was January of 2024 when you guys had your hearing for the motion for a new trial.
Well, it has taken a very long time. Fortunately, something has happened prior to us having to file that final brief. But as I told a reporter yesterday, I think this is a good start. I'm hoping this isn't the end all be all. Remember now, and this concerns us, the agency investigating her is the same agency that did the investigation on the murder case and the witnesses on the murder case.
This guy is such a prick. He's such a douchebag.
It raises severe and significant questions about whether there's a conflict. Now they'll say, well, it's a different division and whatever. Well, we're a small state. That's a small agency. It's the same chief supervising both investigations. And I'm sure I'm not questioning anybody's integrity. What I am questioning is the ability to focus on Becky Hill and look in areas that might further jeopardize that conviction. There's a whole series of events I was a part of.
It's never going to be over. This case here, the Karen Reed case, it's just never going to end. There's always going to be something.
Before the judge ultimately dismissed the juror we all know as Egg Lady, there were a series of conferences in chambers concerning allegations Becky Hill was making.
You're just telling this person here, make sure you do this so that I get my book deal.
For her more than a week or 10 days prior to her actually being excused, involving some email that didn't exist. We find out didn't exist by what she said was Egg Lady's former husband, which it wasn't. It was a guy in Georgia. It had nothing to do with the case. Why was she stirring the pot on that? Obviously intentionally. A week or more before Egg Lady when she came in with more evidence. She was out to get clearly.
Don't forget, if you guys have channels like Mino Dino's got a channel. Wait a minute, hold on. Look at Mino Dino tonight. Well, he's got OnlyFans. Charles got a channel. Dirty Diana's got a channel. If you guys have channels, feel free to throw them in the chat.
Out to get the Egg Lady excuse from the jury. Did that mean that she had inside information on her Egg Lady's position? Apparently she did indicate in her testimony and affidavits that she had severe questions about whether the state had proved beyond a reasonable doubt. How did she know that? Why was she after that? Those are the questions that need to be asked and investigated. There are folks who were witnesses to that process that I don't know have been interviewed. I know they, like last week or week before last, couple of SWAT agents interviewed the two jurors that testified. And Joe McCullough, their lawyer, I think he issued a statement yesterday, indicated it was perfunctory at best. And it wasn't a real effort to get to the bottom of the matter. So,
right. So, this is the thing. Like, people who don't believe this shit happened. Stefa's here. Where's Stefa? What happened to Steffes? The support with Steffes here. Big Fish Small Pond is here. Hey, Big Fish Small Pond. Where's Steffa? Hey, support with Steffa. Good to see you. Always good to see Steffa in here. We go way back to the Wayback Machine. Always good to see everybody here in the chat. We're going to move on to something else. I want to go to I don't have to worry about this case. This case is never going to end. The Alex Murdaugh shit. It's just it is what it is. We're never going to end up not hearing anything about this. It's all thanks to the that person. All right, so there's more to come from that. I do want to give an update on this manhunt going on down in New Orleans. Yeah, this is what I was going to go live. I was going to do a live on this when it happened the other day. So I don't know if you guys have heard about this. This was done a day ago. Authorities in New Orleans provide an update on the remaining 9 inmates who escaped from New Orleans Justice Center on Friday morning. And I think they think that some of these guys had some inside help, but here we go. Hold on a second. Let me all right, this, I believe this is part of the press conference here. Have a good night, Miranda. Always good to see you. I hope you're well. Have a good weekend. Here's this here. Let me fast forward just a tad here. Okay, here we go.
Thank you all for being here so we can get more information out to our community. We are joined here today by our partners who are helping us put this investigation together to get these folks back into custody. We are joined here by the FBI.
So apparently there was 10 guys that decided they wanted to get out of jail, prison, and they went through great lengths to do it. So I believe that 2 or 3 of them right now are in custody, and the other 7 are still at large, but I could be wrong.
The new SAC who's in the back. We are also joined by our partners at the New Orleans Police Department, Chief Gonthier, the state police. We've got a couple of members of.
Charlotte's here? Where's Charlotte? Hey, Charlotte, good to see you. Charlotte's here. Always good to see Charlotte. We haven't seen you for a while. I haven't seen you for a while. Hope you're well. Definitely been missed. Charlotte's amazing. All right, hold on a second.
The state police also here to support us. Crime Stoppers and CEO Costanza. And we are going to start off with OPSO Major Silas Phipps Jr., who is over our Investigative Services Bureau, to give you an update about that. We'll then have Chief Jay Mallett, who is our warden over the jail, to discuss a little bit more about that. Major Stephanie Minto, who is our Crime Victims Reparations Unit Commander. Darlene Costanza will be next after that. And then the SAC from the FBI will be final. Major Phipps.
Good afternoon, and thank you, Sheriff. Thank you all for being here. I'll start by providing you an update on where we are with the investigation. Just an overview of the original timeline. So at approximately 8:30 this morning, OPSO jail operations staff found that several inmates on Pod 1 Delta were missing during their head count. That jail staff immediately began a systematic search of the facility for those inmates as members of our investigatory team began combing through video to see where they could have gone. At the time of the incident, there was no deputy physically on Pod 1 Delta, and the technician that was assigned to the housing unit module had actually stepped away to grab food. After reviewing video, we noticed that at 12:22 a.m., several inmates on Pod 1 Delta were observed jarring one of the sliding doors open specifically on cell Delta 1006. At 12:43 a.m., those same individuals entered that cell. At 1 a.m., they were observed on camera exiting our facility using an adjacent to loading dock door. So a loading dock door.
It's like once a year. Remember, I think it was last year? The guy from Pennsylvania there was hiding in the woods and the dog found him. That's like once a year now this stuff is happening. They think though that this one here might be a little bit help inside. Who knows? Look at these glasses. They're freaking awesome. Look at this. This is like 70s shit here.
Door adjacent to that pod, and subsequently going down a side road behind our building, still within our secure perimeter between the Phase 3 facility that's currently under construction. At 1:19 a.m., they were then observed scaling the fence along the I-10 between our building and the currently under construction Phase 3, using blankets to avoid being cut by the barbed wire. Those individuals subsequently ran across the westbound and eastbound lanes of I-10 and then entered the neighborhood. This morning, after investigators became involved, they subsequently found clothing that they shed in that neighborhood. Although it was previously reported that there were 11 escapees, there were 10. 9 remain at large. 1 was apprehended earlier today, which you've covered, and 1.
That was pretty. It took forever. Remember, they just I forget the name of the dog that found him, but yeah, that was pretty cool. There was another guy too earlier that year that got out. I think that happened in the spring. I could be wrong. Thank you, Paula.
Person previously reported as an escapee was located inside the facility. As of right now, 3 employees have been placed on suspension pending the outcome of this fluid and ongoing investigation.
These guys literally found a way. Now, this is part of the investigation, but literally they found a way to remove the toilet from the wall, and then they just escaped through the wall from removing the toilet. So people in prison and jail, they have plenty of time to figure these things out, but I'll play that in a minute.
Investigation. We do have a video we're going to play with you, and I will kind of narrate just to kind of show you what I've already said, and then I'll go from there after. So if you take a look at the screen.
That was one of the best shows ever, Reno 911. That was a great show. Wasn't that in Canada? Wasn't that part of, I don't know, Reno 911?
So as you see here,
What the?
on the screen, this is where you see inmates jarring open the sliding doors of the cell that they used to escape.
Okay. Look at all the time these guys have to do this shit. You can't, like I said, you just can't make this stuff up. You just can't. This is funny shit. And this is technically not funny. I mean, these guys are murderers here. These aren't people to play with here. 10 of them. He's using his leg for leverage. How does nobody see this? There's another guy.
So you see them jarring open the door. They get it open. Subsequently, they go inside their cell. And this
Look at them all. My God.
is where you see them exiting the loading dock door.
Watch this. Here they come. All of them 10. We're free. It's just so funny.
You notice they are carrying the blankets with them.
The guys in orange are probably going to get caught really quick. Everybody that isn't in orange was smart enough to change into regular. Like, this is just too funny.
This road that they're going out of is behind this building. as I explained. They subsequently go through another door. And here, at some point you will see them come through here, and they scale the fence through this door that's near the construction site. They scale that fence, and then they go on their escape crossing all lanes right there. Going across that.
Lieutenant Dan Oya. Reno, Canada.
As Casey said, we will share those videos with you all.
So if you had video of them.
1 second, we still have more to go. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
yeah. We would like to acknowledge the over 200 law enforcement.
It's hey buddy, what's going on? It's JP. John Paul, good to see you, man. Another awesome channel there. Reno, Nevada. I got it. Always good to see JP in here. From the 302-1s in here. Good to see you. All right, so let's go here.
Personnel that are assisting this investigation.
None of these guys have any clue what's going on here.
They represent partner agencies, the Louisiana State Police, Department of Public Safety and Corrections, Louisiana Office of Probation and Parole, Louisiana Attorney General's Office, the New Orleans Police Department, the Orleans and East Jefferson Levy District Police Departments, United States Marshal's Office, the Federal Bureau of Investigations, Homeland Security Investigations.
Yeah, that's the thing. Now the U.S. Marshals have to go find these guys because these guys weren't smart enough to keep these guys locked up. I mean, this is the issue right now. Jeez, bro, now you got to find all of these guys, round them up again, and put them behind bars again. When that was your one job, you had one job. That was it.
Investigations, the Office of Alcohol, Tobacco Control, and Explosives, the St. Tammany and St. Bernard Parish Sheriff's Offices.
Huh.
I will now turn it over to Chief Jay Mallett.
Thank you. What I would like to do is kind of point to you what we believe is the exit point of where the inmates left. What you're looking at here is a vantage point.
These guys are gone. These guys, I mean, this is the middle. I think this is the middle of New Orleans. They could be anywhere. Sure, they'll find them eventually, but these guys are gone. And they're probably, pretty dangerous because they probably don't want to go back to jail. That's why they were trying to get out. So.
Where you're behind the cell in the pipe case. And
they literally just took this, usually a sink here, a combination sink. I mean, they don't give prisoners much. So there's basically a sink and a toilet here. And then they just took this off the wall and escaped through the wall.
as you can see, these are rebars that reinforce the structure. There are clean cut here, and the plumbing has been removed. All of this on the outside of the cell, behind, in the pipe chase. This is how it looks initially. As you can see, we have bolts.
You guys are all awesome. I really appreciate everybody being in here, giving me your time. Yes, this is in New Orleans. Who said this here? Sorry, I've been trying to update everybody. There's another one I missed here. This is an escape case. Yeah, there's I believe 7 of them that are still at large. I'll play the latest one. Ron Logan's here again. Awesome. We have Ron Logan and Charles Manson in the same chat.
That hold those fixtures in place. These are again on the backside into the pipe chase. All of this has been removed and these have been clean cut. We have reason to believe that there was some assistance with this. That's why we're thoroughly investigating. And as Major Filthy said, we placed 3 individuals on administrative leave pending the outcome of this investigation.
So they already have 3 people inside that have been, they're basically under investigation, but I wouldn't be surprised if there's more than that involved. I mean, there's 10 people that escaped, not just one, just 10. Like they let a football team out, pretty much. Ron is your
Good
boyfriend.
afternoon, all. I am Major Stephanie Minter Gibson, and I oversee the Crime Victims Unit for the Orleans Parish Sheriff's Office.
Well, they're definitely not falsely convicted now, but you never know. I know one thing, they're pretty smart to get out of there. It's not easy to do this shit.
Once I was notified about the escapees, I immediately gathered a team of experienced staff and we started calling victims and survivors just to make sure that they are aware of what was going on and that they are safe. For the records that had no information, I immediately reached out to our partners.
Imagine getting that phone call if you're one of the, surviving relatives or something like that, or a witness that testified against some of these guys. Hey, by the way, just to let you know, remember that guy that you, be on the lookout. They just escaped.
Partners such as NOPD Special Victims Unit, Detective Walton, who was very grateful in helping us, and she provided us with other information that we
She's the reader, I think.
were able to call those families and help them as well. Once we finished the first batch of victims, we started calling the second batch. And actually, the reason why I'm saying that is because I separated them. The chief from the DA's office,
That's freaking classic.
Alison Morgarder, reached out to me, and we both.
What is this guy looking at? Is he looking at what she's saying? Like, this is classic.
Were calling victims. What she had and I did not have, we shared information and we both gathered all the information and we made sure all victims were aware of what was going on. Most of the victims were.
Can't make this stuff up. The glasses make it perfect. The glasses are like part of the story. They're just bat signal.
Very grateful for the calls. They graciously thank us. We additionally sent our detectives to their homes for more safety measures, and that alone speak measures. I strongly encourage all to educate the community on the importance of VineLink. This is a free app that is listed online, and it is also a guide for victims and.
Steph is awesome. We go way back to all of the Delphi shit with all the different channels, and it's so awesome to have Steph in here. Steph is great.
Survivors to track offenders while they navigate the criminal justice system. The number for Vine is 1-800-277-7477. I'm sorry, it's 1-866-277.
Oh. Remember that interview with press conference with what's his face in the Delphi case? He had one job to do the 3, and he said 4, 3.
7477. We are located here on the 3rd floor of the sheriff's office, and our contact number here is 504-827-6754, 504-202-9229.
I thought Steph had a channel, don't you? I thought Steph had a channel. Yes, before all the fighting. Yes, before. Was there ever a time where there wasn't fighting? It wasn't Riley. It was the other guy that at the infamous. Was it the infamous 2019 press conference? And classic. Does, but when I checked, I didn't see much.
Thank you.
Good evening. As you know, Crime Stoppers has been in this community offering asking for anonymous tips and offering cash rewards for that information for over 40 years. Close to
Yeah, Charlotte's awesome. Charlotte's an amazing person. It's always good to see Charlotte in here. That's why I try to go as late as possible because I know she's all the way over there in England. You should. You'd be great doing content.
50 years. And what we do is we allow you to come forward through either a phone number, and that number you hear it every day, 504-822-1111. You can go to the crimestoppersgno.org website and post a tip. Or
Like, this is the problem that I have with these press conferences, right? I mean, it's good to have, video of the people who are speaking, but this is News Nation, right? There's a camera in here somewhere in this press room. They should have these guys' faces right in here somewhere where everybody on the planet can see these people, right? And there's nothing. What good is this press conference for the people watching this if nobody can see these people?
Or you can use our mobile app. It's Crime Stoppers GNO Say It Here. No matter how you come to Crime Stoppers, you remain anonymous. We're not tracking your IP. We're not tracking your phone number. We're not asking you to be a witness. But what we're asking you to do today to help the individuals here is to make the call. If you know someplace that someone likes to frequent, you know someplace that they may be, somewhere they may visit, a friend that might.
I've rather missed you all too. I'm so pleased to be back surrounded by my chickens. Awesome. Cup of tea. How's the water over there right now? I know I'm pretty sure you remember you saying you're by an ocean.
Might be helping. Give the call, make the call, send the tip. Now today we're also.
I haven't seen Jocelyn around either. I hope she's okay. Jocelyn's awesome too. She's got a great channel. I think it's Butterfly Kisses.
Announcing an increased reward of $2,000 on each apprehension. So if there are 9 individuals that we're looking for, that's $2,000 on each of the 9 individuals. You have to go through Crime Stoppers. We asked you to come through Crime Stoppers because we're going to keep you anonymous. That's the trusted program. That's the way that we operate. But know that the reward is there if your information leads to the apprehension, and that would come from law enforcement. Thank you.
Thank you. Good afternoon. I'm Jonathan Tapp, Special Agent in charge of the.
Yeah, we are missing Southern Gal. Southern Gal's amazing, and Miss Barb for sure. Yep, it's happening soon. I'm pretty sure that's going to be happening soon. You want a milkshake?
FBI here in New Orleans.
I know that some parts of Arkansas are going through some pretty spotty weather right now, so that's probably that might be what's going on with Southern Gal.
FBI New Orleans has a command post up and running to help search for the escaped inmates. We are offering a reward of up to $5,000 for information leading to the arrest of any of these escaped inmates. If you have information on their whereabouts,
Yeah, guess where that $5,000 comes from?
we're asking you call 1-800-CALL-FBI or submit a tip online to fbi.gov/New Orleans fugitives. We're working side by side with our law enforcement partners. New Orleans Parish Sheriff's Office remains the lead investigative agency here, and we are helping. Thank you very much.
We'll take questions from each. Go ahead from channel 4.
Yeah, is there any indication that friends or family on the outside were aware in advance or communicating about these plans?
And we're not going to get into the details of the investigation.
Dirty Diana's got a great channel too. I was over there yesterday morning now. Awesome stuff. She's got a great channel. She's awesome. Great channel. I'm pretty sure you can DoorDash anything.
Major Phipps, but we're looking at all angles.
What does it say? And I mean this respectfully, but You said, and I'm going to quote you here, that you observed those guys running out at 1 o'clock in the morning. What does it say for jailhouse safety and security when you see a jailbreak like that, but you fail to notify anyone, NOPD, the public, anyone?
We didn't say that.
What did you say then?
Yeah, we observed on the video later this morning. We had to pull that
You
video.
said you observed at 1 a.m.
So let's be clear. I said what we observed on the video through investigation. So yes, when they looked at the video this morning after
You did great. I'm surprised you didn't get struck, Lot. Did you get struck? I know you can play. I'm pretty sure you can play up to 30 seconds for before you get the strike. But it depends if you keep your video up or not too. Because if you don't keep your video, I think if you remove your video before they do, then they don't really care. But you did get a copyright strike. I know she got one the other day. I just think some of these musicians and some of these artists are really. I think they can make a lot more money if they just let people do what they're doing. Yeah, but I don't care. Good. That's a good attitude for sure. Especially some of the old bands, it's a way to get people to buy their shit, but they don't see it that way. So
the staff realized they were gone, my investigators found that at 1 a.m. that's what happened.
So no one was watching live video all night at the jail.
I won't say no one was watching live video, but
How did nobody see them
there are
leaving
over
the jail?
900 cameras.
How did nobody see
There
them
are,
leaving the
there are
jail?
over 900 cameras
I
in
know,
this
it's just,
facility. Right.
how did no one see a massive jailbreak?
The why and how is part of the investigation. So we have interviewed, I think, all of our employees, and we are interviewing all of the residents of that particular pod as well. And then there's a lot of people that you've got to wade through their interviews to get down to the details of what happened. There was somebody on duty.
Sheriff, a source told us that phone calls haven't been monitored over the past week, and escaped inmates were planning.
yeah, it's all basically controlled by the executives, but you would think that some of these artists would be getting with the executives saying, hey, I don't know. If it was my stuff, like if it was my stuff, I'd be fighting to get that stuff, because you never know how much money they're missing. I mean, having copyright strikes all the time isn't doing much for your brand. But I don't want to go to sleep. I didn't want to go to sleep, but I was getting super dizzy and I knew I had to sleep, so I didn't pass out. But you go to sleep anytime you want to. Great channel, though. Awesome channel.
How they were going to get out through phone calls. Were you all monitoring phone calls?
All the time. There are 1,400 people in this jail, over the city council 1250 limit. So can you monitor every single person every day? No, we don't have the bodies.
I'm telling you right now. It's just one of those things. In my opinion, if stuff like this happens, like if this anybody's job, if somebody screws up this bad, they get either reprimanded, fired, or whatever. It just seems like these people just get away with it and nothing ever happens. I know just kind of being like an armchair quarterback here, or Monday morning quarterback, but this is just, you can't let this happen. This is ridiculous. These are potentially pretty dangerous people.
Do that, but we do monitor and we rely on tips, and we have an intelligence unit that monitors what's going on in the jail. There's a lot of things at any given time going on.
But it's your job. It's your job to monitor every single person in this facility every day.
Visually with our deputies on the pods. Yes.
As they have a question, the former sheriff, Marlon Gusman, he disputes the claims that there were a lot
It's definitely a racket. There's no doubt. they want to make all the money they want. They don't want to give the artists any of it. I agree with that 100%.
Issues here at the facility after he left. Do you stand by your statement about the issues with it? And also we learned that you have a $14 million fund balance. Why wasn't that money used to repair the locks? If you could talk about that.
I think if you can get away with it if you have if you can somehow get an educational YouTube stream up, because I know that some people do it all the time. So they either buy the copyrights to get into that, or they have some sort of an entertainment or an educational type thing that they can kind of skirt through that copyright. My opinion.
I can speak more intelligent, I believe, to the physical plant in the jail, not necessarily design, but at some point this jail was planned, and it was obviously planned to be a minimum custody facility. I don't know what the dynamics of the population was in New Orleans as far as those incarcerated around that time, but that is not the dynamic now. Right now we have 24 pods, and 90% of those pods are populated with high security inmates. Those are people that are predatory, assaultive, violent, and aggressive. So we were in the process now of developing an ad-seg unit, because we identified a large number of individuals that needed to be on some type of restrictive housing environment that did not exist at this facility. So it's plenty of deficiencies when we start to talk about the physical plant. So it's not correct to say that those things didn't exist, because I mean they're prevalent.
This jail opened in 2015, and in 2022 they never had a jailbreak. So when you say it's not built for that,
But you gotta think about you gotta think
they never had a jailbreak.
you gotta think about the sheriff says that all the time. She talks about the 83% recidivism rate. So you got people in and out of here all the time. So they've been here and know the place. No. I said when you started talking, I said it was built, had to be built for a minimum. So you started talking, you started.
This is going to turn into a Waffle House press conference pretty soon here.
You started talking about locks. I don't know of a max security inmate. Right now they had an objective classification system in place. I don't know if that was in place to identify properly if there were max security. It may have been everybody clumped together. We know now, based on our objective criteria, that we do have people that are classified at a higher security level than what this particular facility was built for.
Talking about failures in the pods, is there a maintenance and service contract at this time in place? Is there a maintenance and service contract in place? We're talking about failures within the pod. Once again, is there a maintenance and service contract in place? Travers gets asked multiple questions. We're asking another question.
I really can't hear you loud, buddy.
Service contract in place with the
There's a
pod.
convicted murderer in there, right, who had already been convicted, and he was in among these 10, right? Were they in separate cells?
Everyone everyone here is two to a cell, and that's what we have. And we've been in constant communication with anybody that's been convicted with the Department of Corrections to come and pick up those individuals that have been convicted. We have 78 individuals right now. We've been in communication with the department.
It's just like this stuff here. They're very defensive. I get it. You know, they don't want to be put on the spot and stuff like that. But at the same time, this is some serious shit here. This 10 potentially really violent people that just got let into society. And, they're not going to want to go back. That's for sure. So I would consider these people to be pretty dangerous.
No correction. And they're assured us that they're going to come and get these individuals. I'm not familiar with Derrick Rose if he's been sentenced. I know he's been here for a long period of time. So if he's been recently sentenced, that's great. He would have been on.
That's what, honestly, when I was into the music years and years ago, when I was drumming and stuff and trying to get involved in the industry and stuff like that, it left a bad taste in my mouth. That's why I didn't want anything to do with it, honestly. Talk about scumbags. The music industry is loaded with them.
On our list, he may be aware of that. He will be on our list to go to the Department of Corrections. But they have the Department of Corrections and Public Safety that work with us to move several inmates that have been sentenced. They come twice a week. I just got off the phone when I stepped out here then with the Department of Corrections to identify how many individuals we have that have been sentenced, that are taking up space, that are high security people, that have long sentences, and they all are violent.
And what's been
Talking
done to
about
protect
the, talking about the
witnesses
difference.
in that case? Is there something being done to protect the witnesses who testified?
I deal with the jail, so there'll be someone. Yeah.
Talking about the pods and the deteriorating conditions, is there a maintenance and service contract in place to make repairs? And we're also hearing that critical cameras were down for weeks.
We have, this is our CFO, Bianca Brown, to talk more about that.
Hi, so I'm Bianca Brown. So based upon the question that you asked earlier about the fund balance related to the 2023 audit, I'll give you the breakdown of that. 4.2 million was.
This is classic. This is so I wanted to play this because this is just a classic press conference here. These people are getting upset, right? But at the same time, it's their fault.
Related to accounts payable. 9.5 million was related to FEMA restricted cash for capital projects only. The CJ restricted cash had about 98,000 in it due to others, which was processing fee, DAPs, clerk of courts, NOPD property room. They get about 97,000 of that money. We had due to the Department of Public Safety for civilian backgrounds that we conduct. That was about 400,000. And then we also had a detail account that's kind of restricted for radios, video cameras, tactical gear, software, and maintenance for the deputies that they pay based upon their details. So that doesn't exist. That's failed. That money.
I remember the guy last year. He was out for, forget his name. Wasn't he from South America or something like that? He was over here. But he was out for a couple of weeks. It was exactly a couple of weeks, I think, 11 to 12 days. Remember, he stole the pew pew and was just hiding in the woods. These people here are in the middle of the city here. This is New Orleans. These people could be anywhere, right?
Money doesn't exist. That was
the U.S. Marshals will find them though, but who knows what they're gonna do once they find them. That's the thing.
From a 2023 audit that they're reporting on, and those funds don't exist.
Yes, that's
As of
him.
Today, that balance is about 6.3 million that is still due out.
That's him. Yep. I went live a couple times with that guy. There was a guy before that too from Western Pennsylvania though too. Cavalcante. Yep, that's him. Yes, Trivia Tracy. That's awesome. She's perfect. That's awesome. Good job. Great. He was caught by that dog. Remember that dog found him.
Out as of 2025.
So if we could answer my question, we asked
What
a
is your
question,
question?
nobody answered.
What is your
Once
question?
again, we asked multiple times, is there a maintenance?
Yeah, I think that was the other guy. There was another guy shortly before he left. The Spanish guy that just climbed the wall and got out. Excuse her. These people are getting this is classic. This is a classic interview here.
And service contracts in place to take care of the deteriorating conditions within the pods and within the jail.
We can't
We're also
afford a
hearing that
maintenance
there's
and service
critical cameras
contract.
that are not working.
So right now, we can't afford a maintenance and service contract. We have maintenance staff that are on board that do the day-to-day. But right now, our current budget sits at about 68 million. 41.1 million comes from the city, 13 million comes from the millage, and about 1 million a quarter.
No, I think that was Pennsylvania. It was lower Pennsylvania. It was very close to the Delaware border. He had unalived his girlfriend or something like that.
Is given to us. Right now, our payroll is about 9.6. Our food expenses is 780,000 a quarter. That eats up the money. We don't have the funding available to have a full maintenance contract to do this. We've explained this on multiple occasions. Just on Monday, we went to the City Planning Commission and we reported this out. We asked for the money to secure this. So the funding is not available to do what needs to be
So if
done,
the
and it hasn't been
conditions are
done.
Not appropriate enough to handle violent offenders like the ones that escaped today. Have you all considered potentially shipping them elsewhere?
We can't afford it.
Your budget is bigger than Marlon Gusman's. Do you all realize that the last sheriff had a smaller budget than you have?
The budget was bigger, but guess what? Things are being deprived. So what you're seeing is a result of what's happening now. broken doors. You got facilities, the wear and tear. All of that is occurring now due to that budget. This size facility should have a $150 million budget. The budget that we have, it doesn't support what we need. I've laid out the numbers. You see, it's critical.
I want to, if I could, speak to when you say have we explored shipping outboarding individuals. Yes, we have. We've sent out numerous individuals, high security people, to various places. Department of Corrections, Public Safety helped us with that. We've sent people to Plaquemine.
Like I said, this had every possible, possibility of turning into like a Waffle House press conference here. Chairs throwing, people getting shot, stuff like that.
We've sent people to Catahoula. We've sent people to Madison. We've sent people to Angola. 30%, almost 40% of those individuals we see get remanded back for various reasons. So that takes up space. And the ones we sent to Catahoula, this is important, the ones we sent to Madison and the ones we sent to Plaquemine, all of these are parole violators. So these people are convicted felons that committed a crime here in New Orleans as either a pass-through, having fun, or whatever they were doing, and they ended up in the jail.
And look, circling back, what are you specifically doing to capture these violent offenders?
What do you mean?
What is the sheriff's office doing right now to capture these violent
The
offenders?
sheriff's office is working along with the 200 partner offices that I mentioned earlier in actually capturing these individuals. We're providing critical intel. So we are combing through those phones.
That's the thing. The taxpayers now have to pay for this twice. They have to find these guys. U.S. Marshals aren't cheap, right? I mean, this is just if you're thinking it from a tax perspective and people, this is just atrocious. This stuff can't happen. It's just ridiculous.
Phone calls and other messages you mentioned earlier to identify who they communicated with, where they could potentially be. So along with our partners, we are visiting those locations in search of those individuals.
Are those video calls, are those iPads recorded as well?
That's exactly what I want to know. I want to know how 10 inmates were able to just, I mean, I could see 1 or 2 inmates getting past security, but 10? That's just, that's telling me that somebody was looking the other way. That's just my opinion. I don't know if that's true or not. I'm just saying, 10 people, 10 is a lot of people. It's not like there's no cameras in jail. There's cameras everywhere. Just doesn't make any sense to me. 10 people.
Video calls and iPads?
I can't answer whether those are recorded. I know the phone calls are recorded. I don't want to say yes or no on the video calls.
Here's the question. Specifically their
Yes.
what are y'all doing?
Chief Mallett just said yes, they are recorded as well.
All right, we have one more question. Go ahead. Savon, you haven't had one.
The surveillance that we saw that they were wearing their orange jumpsuits, but you said when they got into the neighborhood, they shed their clothes. Was
Oh yeah, it's definitely pre-planned, no doubt. This was probably planned for months.
someone there waiting to give them a change of clothes if they have clothes as contraband underneath their jumpsuits?
So right now, we can't say we haven't seen all of the video to say that from the neighborhood on whether they had additional clothing, but what we knew is they shed some of their orange.
And the CMT is a civilian position,
Correct.
right? Should maximum security inmates be watched by a civilian CMT? And if you could talk a little bit more, I know you said that they were on a break. Could you give us some more specifics on that?
Sure. So yes, the CMT is a corrections monitoring technician. She is a civilian. She sits in a pod module and observes the pod. That is primarily when we do not have the physical deputy staff to sit on the pod. We have a vacancy rate like every other correctional agency in the country. Every corrections has a 55% vacancy rate across this country. Like us, we are underfunded, understaffed, underpaid. So we do our best to hire staff and retain them, but like everyone else, we're short. So yes, this civilian was assigned to the pod module to observe the pod. When she stepped away to grab food, that is when they began their attempts to escape. By the time she returned, they were already into the cell or gone. So she did not even know that they had made good on their escape or made an attempt to escape.
How
Sheriff, do you want to say?
I don't have that time in
speak to
front of
the
me.
people, I think everybody's live in here. Do you want to say you're sorry to the people of New Orleans for having this happen? I mean, we've heard from you several times today, but do you want to offer any kind of contrition or apology to people for something like this happening?
Well, first we have to find out exactly what happened and how they got out. We think this was intentional. There is much more than meets the eye in this investigation. And why did it happen?
If it isn't intentional, they're going to find it intentional. That's
Just right now, right? In the middle, as we're getting ready to start.
people forget that these prisons, you know, and I'm not trying to get on a soapbox here, but if anybody's been to prison or jail, they know exactly how these systems work. Everybody thinks these prison guards and these prison officials are moral people and all of that stuff. Just some of the biggest losers, and everybody's trying to make a buck, man. And you can get if you can get some of these criminals in there to get you some money from the outside inside, you'd be surprised what these guards will do.
This sheriff's race. This is very suspicious. We know that they had help.
Just because people are in prison doesn't mean they don't have money, and if they can get you money or favors or whatever, you'd be surprised what guards will do.
Showing you they had help. There's much more than meets the eye. When I have enough information, I'll be glad to talk to the community about my issues or what I need, anything I may need to apologize for. But what I'm telling you, I'm not finished. But what I'm telling.
And these people aren't going to tell you that, they're not going to. But I'm at 80% thinking this was something that probably happened from the inside.
This is a public safety issue first and foremost. There's much more than meets the eye. We are digging, and we are not going to stop till we find out.
What are you doing tonight to make sure that your facility is safe? What is OPSO doing tonight?
All right. Let me, I do want to play, hold on 1 second. I want to play more of this here. Hold on a second. Play this one here.
Breaking news as 7.
So this was done, I think this is probably the latest. This was done 3 hours ago. Manhunt. So the 7 remaining escapees, they've gotten 3 of them. So let's play this here. These are the guys. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So the 7. Yep.
Inmates are still on the run tonight as multiple law enforcement agencies try to track them down. 10 in total, remember, escaped from the Orleans Parish Jail. 3 have been caught. But take a look. These 7 are still on the run tonight, and deputies are asking you to your surroundings and call Crime Stoppers if you see any one of these men. WDSU reporter Jasmine Franklin has been responding to scenes alongside law enforcement all day long today. Jasmine, as they track down every single lead.
Elizabeth, tonight, hundreds of law enforcement personnel are spread out across our area, continuing their search for those 7 remaining escapees, and they say they'll continue to track every single lead until they find them.
There's no time. The good news is most of these people are probably not very intelligent. It's just by when you escape from prison or jail, you're pretty much, you don't have a lot of options. So usually some of these guys will commit another crime to stay out, and that's usually how they get them, or they do something dumb.
Telling what,
like cell phone use, they'll usually contact family or something like that, and the U.S. Marshals will get them. It's just, this area here is, I have more issues with the system itself. It's just, how can this happen? It's just, you can't make this stuff up.
inmate on the loose is capable of.
The manhunt for the 7 remaining escapees continues, with state and federal agencies pouring resources into the search for the suspects still on the loose.
Knowing that they still got some out the loose, you definitely got to be careful. Watch how keep your head on the swivel.
At least 200 law enforcement personnel are helping in this urgent search to find the escaped prisoners, and it is all hands on deck.
I was really surprised to see them running out the door like that.
It's crazy how all of them was just able to get out in that timely manner.
Law enforcement is in full force across our area. This video shows a large police presence in New Orleans East on Cindy Place around 3 p.m. Multiple sheriff's office and state police crews were there, along with SWAT teams who had weapons drawn as they conducted their search. No one was arrested in this incident, and we don't know if this is connected to the search for the 7 remaining escapees, but this just shows how serious law enforcement is, taking every single tip, tracking down every single lead.
Come on back, give themselves up, because eventually they're gonna get caught.
And the multi-agency search is not just within parish lines. The St. Bernard Parish Sheriff's Office is joining in, helping in the investigation.
All of this money, it shouldn't have happened, man. Now they gotta, this is costly.
To bring the escapees back to jail.
It's crucial that our efforts to capture these guys and put them back in jail, which are all violent criminals. They have no business being on the streets.
And if you know any of the 7 remaining escapees' whereabouts, you should call police, or you can also leave an anonymous tip through the FBI's website. That's fbi.gov. Reporting live in New Orleans, Jasmine Franklin, WDSU News.
And Jasmine, with that said, the reward to find those escaped in.
This is, they're offering rewards now, 5,000, 5,000, 5,000. It's just ongoing money supply here. I'm trying to find a video of how they got out.
Is now increasing. The ATF is now offering a $5,000 reward that is on top of the $2,000 Crime Stoppers reward. And remember that $5,000 being offered by the FBI.
Like a football team running out. Okay, there we go. Let's see here. There's this one here. Let's do the Vargas thing. Did we do that already? No.
There is now a bounty on their heads, and the sheriff herself is calling it an inside job.
But this was done 23 hours ago.
Suspending 3 members of the department. Take a look at this new surveillance video showing inmates yanking on doors.
They're on camera. There's a camera here, right? There's cameras all over the place here.
And then later running for an escape. All of them running off the loading dock early this morning.
You can't make this up. How does nobody see this? There's like 10 of them. There actually seems like there's more. I counted it 10 times there, I think.
In their prison jumpsuits. Sheriff Susan Hudson of New Orleans.
You can't make this up. 1, 2, 3, 4. Because it is 4.
Parish says 10.
There's 5, 6, 7. And they're touching shit, it's like
inmates, many charged with
8, 9. I think there's 10.
Violent crimes.
10. Yeah, that's the last guy. Some of them are wearing orange jumpsuits, so it can't.
Escaped from the New Orleans Justice Center shortly after midnight last night. Police found one of those men hiding under a car in a hotel parking garage in the nearby French Quarter hours later. Prison officials realized the inmates had broken out not until a routine head count.
It just seems to be like maybe somebody was paid to not be monitoring the cameras at that time. I don't know. You can't make this shit up, man. Every single day there's something new.
At 8:30 this morning. They say by that point, those men had been out and on the loose for nearly 8 hours. What is making this jailbreak even more controversial, authorities waited 2 hours before sounding the alarm to the public.
They could have been anywhere. We have to make sure that's exactly what happened. We have to pull all the video and find out what happened. That takes a little bit of time. Then we have
You can't tell the public for 2 hours, really?
to first prioritize talking to victims to make sure they were safe and making sure law enforcement could respond to them if they need something.
Now, these fugitives are charged with a litany of crimes, including murder, burglary, illegal weapons possession, aggravated assault, and false
Yeah, they're not in there for playing tiddlywinks. They're hardened criminals, man.
imprisonment. Among the escapees is this man, 27-year-old Derek Groves, convicted of killing 4 people. He gunned down 2 of his victims at a Mardi Gras celebration back in 2018. Groves is known for having, quote, alarming familiarity with AK-47s and for boasting about his kill count. And take a look at these photos from inside the jail. The inmates.
Is freaking classic. They wrote some of this shit on the wall. So this is the sink / toilet. I mean, this is bolted to this wall here normally with some sort of a fastener, and they just somehow extricated this from the wall, and then they just snuck out through the wall because where the plumbing is. Too easy, LOL.
Writing on the wall above their escape hole, quote, too easy, LOL. They dug a hole in that wall behind a toilet and tunneled their way out to freedom after shaking their cell doors off their tracks. Look
at this. Oh my God. Oh, I needed this. This is our hard work, our hard-earned dollar. Right here. Just
were at least 4 supervisors and 36 other staff members on duty at the jail last night. Joining me now for more on all of this is former FBI special agent and founder of Sierra One Consulting, Rob D'Amico, and Joe Cardinale, retired New York Police Lieutenant Commander. I got to.
So that's that. I got to move on to something else. It just this. Oh, it's too funny. I shouldn't be laughing. This is probably not that funny. Anyway. All right, I do want to move on to this here. Okay, so we're going to do this missing person case here. This is from, I try to do this once a week, the missing person case of the week here. So we're going to do a missing case becomes homicide investigation. We covered this Celine McCain thing a while back. I think they've actually considered this to be now not an accident and a homicide. So this week's missing looks at the disappearance of Nikki Chang Celine McCain. This is the California mother of 4, has been missing since May of 2024. Her disappearance shortly before she was to testify against her husband, Tyler McCain, who was facing 4 felony charges from an alleged domestic violence incident. Now, after nearly a year with no updates and communication from Nikki, the Shasta County Sheriff's Office is investigating this case as a homicide. So here we go. This is, I'll try to pull up some information on this, but I know we did a couple of lives, at least one I know of on her.
Text and why investigators think this case has turned into a homicide. First, though, we want to highlight several other cases that have been on our radar and share with you. A national search is underway for a missing.
Mino Dino's taking off. Good night, buddy. Good to see you, man. Always good to see Mino Dino in here. Awesome guy. Keeping the chat active, doing the stuff that he does. He's awesome. Always good to see him. Were you here when we did the live on that this person here? Did you follow the Debbie Collier case? All right, so here we go.
15-year-old girl from Utah who police fear is in communication with an adult man from Texas. Alyssa Petrov's family provided these pictures that you're seeing here to our Nexstar affiliate, ABC4 Salt Lake City. The teen reportedly was last seen walking away from her high school in American Fork, Utah, and then took a train to Provo on April 21st. The National Center for Missing and Exploited
Did I do anything on this person?
Children received a tip that she was communicating with an adult online and through multiple chat applications and is possibly trying to get to the
Krispy Kreme donuts.
Las Vegas area. Police now know that man's identity and are investigating that. Alyssa is listed as a runaway and is considered endangered. So please keep an eye out for her and contact authorities.
I have to look into this case.
If you have any information that can help. Date in a case that we followed closely here in our missing series, the FBI announcing it will be taking a fresh look at this little boy's case, Kyron Horman.
You guys are all awesome. I just want to tell you that again. Everybody in the chat is awesome. Like I said, if you guys have channels, I know Dirty Diana's got a channel. Feel free to throw it in the chat. JP's got a channel. JP is awesome. Let's see here. I know Paula's got a channel too. Paula's great. Honeybee's got a channel. Feel free to throw them in the chat for sure. Miss K is in here. Hey, Miss K, good to see you. Just going over the missing person case of the week. I think we all have dirty channels, don't we? All right, so it's like the missing person case of the week here. Nikki Chang, Salee McCain.
Disappeared from a Portland elementary school 15 years ago. You may remember this case. I certainly do. It drew national attention. Kyron's stepmother says that she drove him to school that day and last saw him walking down the hall toward his classroom. That was June 4th, 2010. Kyron's teacher marked him absent and said that he never made it to class. Search crews looked for Kyron for weeks. It was the largest missing person search in Oregon's history. Years later, Kyron's
Oregon. Did she say that right? Oregon?
mother, Desiree Young, has never.
I need to look into this case too. How come I don't know about this case?
Stopped trying to keep her son's investigation alive.
Every morning I wake up, I think, we're still here. Kyron's still not home. We didn't get the call in the middle of the night, and I just can't believe it. And I have to talk.
Or gone, right?
Myself into getting up and doing it all over again another day, to keep fighting for him and to make sure that we get answers.
In
He's a cute looking kid though. You know, it's like, how come I don't know about this case?
2012, a circuit court judge called Kyron's stepmother a prime suspect, and she has denied any wrongdoing and no charges have been filed against her. The Multnomah County Sheriff's Office says it is reorganizing and digitizing its investigation and the files in this case to be reexamined by the FBI's Behavior Analysis Unit. So this is a case we will, of course.
Yes, I think that was the mother. Phonetics, yeah, terrible. Maybe it's because I'm too Canadian. Oregon. I'll stop.
Course, continue to follow closely. A Virginia mother is asking for help to find her missing son. Deshaun Jarrell Wilson Jr. was reported missing on April 24th. His mom says he was last seen staying with his aunt in Norfolk, Virginia. She says
I think that our Arctic Fox did a thing on this kid here.
He left to go out for the night, taking his phone and wallet, but he never returned. In the days that followed, Deshaun's mother says that she has gotten false leads and tips, but no sign of her son.
This is what I want the public to understand. I want all the help.
So that is Silky. Yeah, I know that. Yeah, it does. Yep. Maybe different years. Who knows? It's no. Yeah, my peeps will call your peeps.
back in it. But please do not joke about this matter because it is a serious matter. You playing on our emotions. And it's not funny. It's not a game. It's not a joke, because if it was your loved one, you wouldn't want your loved one played with like that. Just be mindful, because one day it could be your family.
Deshaun is 5'5", 130 pounds. He's got brown hair and brown eyes. He was last seen wearing a blue hoodie and jeans with a fitted cap. If you have any information on his case, contact the Norfolk Police Department. A new photo release is allowing the mother of a missing Louisiana man to visit the exact spot where her son's car was found abandoned, with his 2 dogs waiting safely inside. Jared McCulloch disappeared in 2023 during a last-minute trip to Illinois to help his teenage son. His 2020 GMC truck was found far off of his route. Jared had crossed the Wabash River on a 1-lane bridge and traveled into Knox County, Indiana. The truck.
Oh, we full of videos on this here. Remember the dog? Something about the dog. I remember doing the Jared McCulloch thing here.
Was found with the engine on. The gas tank was.
He was going to help out his son or something like that. Something about the dog. I remember this case here.
Was empty, and the driver's side door and the passenger door were both open. His dogs, however, Roxy, May, and Rusty, were still inside, obedient.
So the doors were open, the dogs were inside the truck, and he'd just gone. But he was on his way. He went on his way to help out his son, I think. I remember this case.
Waiting for Jared. He was gone. With these pictures, his mother, Tammy, was able to find the exact spot where her son's truck was discovered. She traveled to that site this week in her continued search for answers as to what happened to him. Now to this week's featured case. It's been almost a year since a Northern California mother said she was helping her in-laws with a family emergency, and she was never seen again. Nikki Chang Saley McCain disappeared May 18th, 2024. Attention in this case focused on her husband almost immediately, who was facing domestic violence charges at the time. Now, as
Yeah, I think it was. I'll try to find that. Hold on. I'll keep playing this, but I'll try to find that.
News Nation's Nicole Burley tells us, a whole community is demanding answers.
Where's Nikki? What'd you guys do with her? A family's frustration and suspicion.
I just know my gut feeling that something bad happened to her, but I try to stay hopeful.
For the sisters of 39-year-old Nikki Saley McCain. Is that normal? Silly moments have turned into precious memories.
We were just laughing. And that's how it is usually when all of us sisters are together. It's just filled with gossip and laughter.
Saley McCain vanished in May of 2024, just weeks before she was scheduled to testify against her husband in a domestic violence case. The charges stemming from an incident in December of 2023. Chloe Saley remembers seeing her beautiful sister in the hospital.
Just shocked at the way she looked. I didn't even recognize her. She said that basically, I think he tried to kill me.
The police report details visible facial trauma from a 3-hour ordeal in which Nikki said her husband bound her wrists and ankles and put tape over her mouth. Tyler McCain was charged with 4 felony counts and pleaded not guilty. Nikki's sister says he tried to get her to drop the charges, but after attempting a reconciliation, Nikki refused.
She was ready to start new and get her own place and move on with her life with her and the children.
On May 17th, Nikki texted there was a medical emergency in Tyler's family and she was at the ER. Her last message just after midnight.
And she tells me that she has her mother-in-law's car and that she was going to take it back to her mother-in-law's house.
The location, part of the Redding Rancheria, tribal lands connected to the Wind River Casino in Northern California. volunteers fanned out, searching surrounding areas. Days later, Nikki's gray Chevy Avalanche was found abandoned in the next county. Her family now wondering about those texts.
Was that really her texting me, telling me she was at the hospital, or was that just something to throw us off, like maybe something did happen to her before?
Nikki's family personally looked for clues among abandoned cars on Nikki and Tyler's property. Then, firefighters called to the same location weeks later to contain a wildfire, allegedly ignited as Tyler worked on a vehicle.
Shame, shame.
Angry protesters confronted Tyler outside the courthouse as he arrived for his hearing.
No justice, no peace, and Tyler's on the streets.
The trial delayed, but ultimately, without Nikki's testimony, the district attorney says she had no choice but to drop the charges.
We simply couldn't go forward at that time. By dismissing it, it does preserve our ability to refile that case.
Tyler McCain joined Nikki's family for a press conference in March, speaking publicly for the first time.
Any efforts that might help bring my wife home safely. We miss you. I don't really know what to say.
And explaining his silence.
I haven't been in the public eyes, and I haven't done very well with it. I apologize to everyone, especially my children, my wife's family, mine as well.
4 days later, local and federal agents executed a search warrant at McCain's home. The sheriff refused our request for an interview. Issued a statement since gathered, and that no one has heard from Nikki since she disappeared. Detectives have determined Nikki is the victim of a homicide. They say they have identified persons of interest, but are not releasing their identities. Despite the bitter news, Nikki's family not giving up on finding her.
And I just want to let her know that we won't stop looking for her, and we're going to find her. And we can't wait for her to come home.
We reached out to Tyler McCain through his attorney for an interview or a comment and did not get a response back. Joining us now is Nikki's sister, Kay, to talk more about the case. Thank you so much for being with us, and I'm so sorry for the year that you all have had as you go forth and try to understand what happened and live in this nightmare. Is there any update on the investigation at this time that you can share in the search for your sister?
As of now, the detectives have been pretty tight-lipped. They've released that it is now a homicide, and that they are looking for a red truck that might potentially be in the area where Nikki's truck was abandoned, but still pretty quiet as far as any results from the search on the raid on his house shortly after the press conference. So as of now, no new news.
So in order to determine it a homicide, they said they had evidence. Have they shared any of the evidence with you and your family that leads them to believe that she was killed?
No specifics. Kind of what was in the press release as far as no contact, no signs of an active life, things like that, but no specifics as to what exactly pinpointed them to that conclusion.
What have been your interactions, Kay, with Tyler in the last several weeks?
Right after the press conference, we did speak to him in person. For me, that was the first time in a long time. We had, we
Give me 2 seconds here. Quickly, well, not quickly, but let me, so this is the map here, that I have the actual GPS coordinates on this, where this was found. I'd have to find the video. I don't know if I can find it right this very second, but this is right in this area is where the truck was found here. This is for Jared McCullough here. Basically due north of this is Mount Carmel here, right there. without going back to my notes on this case here, that case there, I'm almost, I don't want to be positive. I'm like 70% the family has something to do with that, but I'd have to go over that again to figure that out. So anyways, I wanted to do that there for JP there. So let me go back. Hold on a second. Let me stop sharing this here. And oops. Right here.
We had a long discussion. It lasted about an hour. And it was actually, oddly, we didn't really get into a lot of the details, but other than that, our communications have been pretty non-existent as far as the searches or questions about what happened to Nikki, or if he had any information to share.
We shared a part of that press conference. How did it feel for you all to have him stand next to you during that press conference? And what did you observe personally in what he shared?
I was actually very hopeful. That was the first time he had addressed anything. So I was hopeful that he would share more and that maybe this was our chance to kind of get more answers from him. So, you know, I was glad he spoke up, but I was hoping for more. We were very apprehensive about the whole thing. We weren't sure what was going to happen and how, if it would change our opinion or our idea of what might have happened, which it didn't. If anything, it kind of confirmed.
I think Southern Gal's done a couple on these this case here too, the Nikki McCain's case.
It.
I'm so glad that they blocked the children's face out here.
Yeah, if anything, we were hopeful. We try to keep it very. We try to keep it a comfortable environment so that you know he had a space to share what he wanted to share.
He did seem stiff and nervous. Part of that could just be someone not used to public speaking, not comfortable in that setting, and certainly given the circumstances. I want to play a small portion of that, Kay. And toward the end, the detective seems to raise his eyebrows at what he hears.
I don't really know what to say. I'm just here in support. So anything that I can do, I want to do that. So.
Again, Kay, I want to reiterate, he has not been named a person of interest. There have been no charges filed, but we talked about the domestic violence history and what your sister had experienced. What makes you suspicious of him? And the last conversation that you had, what did he say, if anything, to assuage your concerns?
He stuck to his story about not knowing what happened, and you know, although his story had changed a few times previously, he still kind of stuck to the same story that she had left on her own accord. I think just kind of the discussions we had about other things that happened before, those were inconsistent. So I felt like there wasn't truth in a lot of what he was saying. So I felt like the conversation kind of, it didn't change our perspective on him or what had happened. It was just more that I didn't feel that there was honesty in what he was sharing with us.
Your sister shared kids with Tyler. Where are those kids now? Are they with him? And have you all been able to see your nieces and nephews?
Actually, they are currently in the care of myself and Chloe. So they, we kind of have like a 50-50 situation where we both just kind of tag team their care and their activities.
Okay, so July 3rd, wildfire report along Tyler's property, fire burns 98 acres. I'll have to go over this again. TA drops domestic violence charges against Tyler. Say they cannot convict without Nikki's testimony. They searched, this was the recent one here.
Even prior to the
release statement determining Nikki was the victim of a homicide.
domestic violence incident, the children were living with both Chloe and myself.
Okay. And I know it's difficult and we want to protect their privacy, but what do you tell them? How do you comfort them right now with so much uncertainty around their?
It's always the husband, always, like 70% of the time. Hold on a second.
Mom.
We tried to give them space to talk about any questions they might have. We try to share with them any new information. We do it carefully, but we don't want to give them any false hope. And we've kind of prepared them a little bit for this potential outcome. We have let them know that we still haven't, periodically we would let them know we still haven't heard from your mom. Have you heard from her? Or and we do say, like, what do you think happened? And then the children do spend time with Tyler's family. So we do ask to, like, do you talk about it with their family? What do they say? So we try to be truthful with them about the situation. But we don't impose any of our opinions on them. We just want them to kind of, because they were around.
Who the hell knows what's going on with that case, right? That's another one of those. This is another one of these very, I just think they fucked up again. They had this guy dead to rights, Barry Morphew, and they screwed that case. That's another one of those things. I think they screwed that case up so much that they'll never be able to convict that guy now. It's so sad. It's just, it's what happens when you have a really bad investigation going on. It's just
around there.
And who knows? Maybe he didn't do it. I don't know. Like, I wasn't there. Everybody's innocent until proven guilty, but it's just they couldn't wait to find her body. They said, once we find the body, everything will be fine. They found her body. They found the tranquilizer. It's like, why isn't there a connection now? It's like, because they screwed the investigation up from the beginning. That's my opinion.
Their parents when a lot of the fighting was happening. So I feel like they have drawn some pretty accurate conclusions. But we try to keep it open so that they can ask questions and that we are communicating with them what's going on so they don't hear it from someone else from school or if they read or see about it.
Yeah, I know it is delicate. It sounds like you all are handling as best you can. How old are the kids, are Nikki's kids?
They are 8, 10, 12, and almost 14.
It's so tough to think what's going on in there.
How do you remember that? Like, I have 2 kids, 3 kids technically, and I 11, 17, 25, I think. I don't know.
Their mind. How about searches, Kay? Are there still active searches happening, and what has community involved?
I don't know what it is about Colorado, man. Colorado, sometimes they just can't. They just. I know that that's where the one of my favorite investigators is from, but they just fuck up so many cases. It's just so. It's embarrassing. Kenda, remember Kenda? I think Kenda's from Colorado.
And support for your family meant in all of this.
Remember this? We saw this video.
We've had, very impressed with our community and the support they've shown. People that we didn't know before are, we consider really close friends now. There haven't been any big community searches, but the group has just gotten smaller, as far as like the searches. We do have a handful of, again, I call them my friends now, but a handful of friends who we find areas of interest, and whoever can go that particular weekend, we coordinate.
Kenda's awesome. He's just the whole cop knock. The way he describes the cases is just classic. Larry Maya Millett case, yep. There's a whole bunch of them coming up. There's I can't wait for the Brian Walsh case that's going on. I think Copfax actually worked with Joe Kenda on a couple of cases. At least that's what he told me. The Susan Morphew case, though, that's embarrassing. That whole case is. I don't think that'll ever be solved now. Because I mean, what is the holdup?
Times and dates, and we'll go in a couple cars. So we are searching almost every weekend, whether all of us are there or not. There's a couple people who are on their own, who just go all the time, and they share information, anything that they find, anything that looks suspicious. So the searches are ongoing, but as far as like the bigger community searches, we haven't really identified.
You know, that now that you mentioned that, coincidentally, people go missing every time Dino visits a state. Let's not tell him that.
Huge areas of interest, and the times that we've done that before, there was an.
So Nikki McCain was last seen 5/18/2024. She was picked up at a home next to Wind River Casino in Redding, California, and she dropped off at her home on Alindo Road in Innocent, California. She's not been seen since. Nikki's light pewter metallic 2002 Chevy Avalanche with California disabled parking plates. This is the plate there. Is also missing. There's a decal with the words Harley Davidson across the back window, right there.
Area of interest over the summer that was shared publicly on a Facebook group, and right before that area caught on fire. So we've been a little more wary of posting about the bigger searches. We're just worried that.
Is she Hawaiian?
If it is good, it was
No, she's
a good area to search. People who might have something to hide might go there and contaminate it or prevent us from searching there.
Yeah, adding even more complication to a nightmare. How about any digital evidence, Kay? We talked a lot about that.
That's what I mean. Thai. Did I say Hawaiian? Oh, I'm an idiot. Ngung and Nigel John is that's definitely probably Thai. Thank you though for correcting me. That's awesome. I think I said Hawaiian. I'm getting this case confused with the what was that missing persons case last summer with the Hawaiian girl there, and she ended up being fine. She was after her father, basically unalived himself. Forget her name. Getting a little spacey too. Don't you need to go to sleep, Heather? Oh, what a beautiful family, though.
Last text message that may or may not have been from Nikki, but has her phone ever been recovered, or have there been pings, and are there any challenges with trying to retrieve that type of data?
We do know that the police have cell phone data from numerous phones, but I don't believe they actually have located Nikki's phone. But I do believe they have information from various phones.
Okay. I know it's tough to put into words the pain and how much you miss your sister, but what do you want to share with folks about having her gone, how it has impacted your family, and just who she was and is to you?
Nikki was such a ball of energy and so much positivity. Her life kind of took a crazy turn the last few years, and I feel
You're tired? That's too bad. Yep, I have ASS too.
feel so much for her for what she had gone through the last few years, and our biggest concern is her children are going to cope and how they are coping. And I know they want closure.
I'm thinking about maybe doing an episode 2 on this case here.
They want to, and they've asked about, are we doing a celebration of life for her?
These two don't look like they belong together here. That's just my opinion.
Are we, now that it's considered a homicide, are we doing a funeral for her? I mean, unfortunately, with we have a our culture is very sacred to our culture. How we guide someone who has passed. So until we are able to find her and have more of a finality, it's difficult for us to perform those types of ceremonies. So I know that not just for in our culture for her soul, but for the children. I think it's they don't have a sense of closure. They don't have this chance to truly say goodbye to her. So for us, we are pleading for those answers to bring that closure to help her children heal and help them move on with that process.
I pray her kids and you have those answers soon. Kay Saley Ford, thank you so much for your time and for sharing your sister with us. Please keep us posted if there's any other way that we can help get the word out and bring you all the closure you so desperately.
I'm shocked in this case if it isn't the husband. Like, I'm right off the bat, when something like this happens, it's usually not all the time, but there's enough data and enough. I mean, obviously, every case is a little different, but you start off at like 60% when it's a missing wife or missing girlfriend or something like that. It's usually somebody that's pretty close. So I'm probably about 70% that it's him, but who knows? I don't know. I wasn't there. She might have had a fling on the side. Who knows? I don't know.
Really deserve.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. If you do have any information that can help Nikki's family, we've got a number on your screen as well that you can contact authorities in this case. The family of Steve Cloyd planned to gather for a celebration of his life. Steve vanished in the flooding.
So I do want to hold on a second. I do want to do. Sorry, I get a little bit sidetracked here, but I do want to do one more thing before I get out of here. Hold on a second here. Let's see. I know when I wanted to do couple more things here. Oh, I wanted to do this one here. Hold on one second. Sorry. Hold on one second. Did we do that one last week? This one here. Well, we'll do this one here and then. This one here. Okay, so I don't think we did this one last week. Hold on a second. So I want to do this here. Hold on one second. Sorry. Stop sharing this. Sorry, my computer's okay, here we go. All of a sudden my computer's not working all that great.
Developing tonight a disturbing case of.
Okay, so let's see if I'm sharing this. Yep. Okay. So so this was done a few days ago. Teen held captive by South Jersey couple escapes. Everything they know. Brenda Spencer, 38, and Brandon Mosley, 41, are facing kidnapping, aggravated assault, and other charges after officials say an 18-year-old who endured years of abuse by the couple who was able to escape captivity. So can you believe this? Years and years and years. So let's play this here. Hold on a second. I wanted to play the other one, but we can do that. second.
Alleged child abuse. A couple, the girl's mother and boyfriend, accused of holding that girl captive in their Gloucester Township home for years. The alleged victim, now 18, escaping to her neighbor for help. And Chris, she says the abuse and torture started in 2018, so when she was about 10 or 11 years old.
That appears to be the case, Sheba. A very disturbing case, to say the least. Camden County prosecutor.
Hold on a second. Are you going to do Kyron Horman? If you do, could you remind me? So yeah, I could do that if you want. I'm assuming I'm David. All right. I'm just trying to catch up on the comments here. Sorry, I had to go through my list to find this, but I found it.
Prosecutors say an 18-year-old, a now 18-year-old girl was held captive.
Hold on, let me write that one down. What is that one again? Kyron's mom to get attention. It breaks my heart. Yes, I'll do that for sure. Kyron Homer. Let me write that down. Hold on. I can just hold on a second. I can just do it. Yeah, I'll do something on that for sure. And I'll let you know.
Captive and abused 7 years, and it wasn't until last week that she escaped into the hands of her neighbors who helped.
One of the most despicable cases that I've ever run across.
Gloucester Township Police announcing the nightmarish details of a kidnapping and abuse case like they've never seen before. They say inside this Blackwood home, 38-year-old mother Brenda Spencer and her 41-year-old boyfriend Brandon Mosley abused and held captive her teenage daughter since 2018. The details shocking.
The victim stated that she was forced to live in a dog crate for approximately 1 year and let out only periodically. The victim also advised that she was later forced to live in a padlocked bathroom while being chained up.
Prosecutors say the girl had been beaten with a belt and sexually assaulted by Mosley. She told investigators she used a bucket for a toilet, and Mosley and Spencer had an alarm system in case she ever tried to leave. But it all came to an end when she escaped last Thursday into the safety of a neighbor who lives next door. Initially, she didn't report the extent of the abuse until 2 days later when police made the arrests.
She did not indicate the level of abuse that was, we later found out when we were called again on Saturday.
Ridiculous, right? This is terrible.
Her from school in the 6th grade to be homeschooled. The house is surrounded with security cameras.
How does this happen? Like, how does this? I don't understand how some of this stuff happens.
And warnings about dogs. Neighbors on Ridge Avenue say they saw the parents often, but rarely the teenage girl.
For a while, I thought the girl lived over there at that house because I rarely saw her, right? So since I never saw her, it was like that was the only indication.
Mosley worked as a SEPTA regional rail engineer and was recently honored for his efforts helping passengers aboard a burnt train. Tonight, he and Spencer are charged with kidnapping, assault, neglect, and other charges. Detectives say the couple was also another 13-year-old daughter. Both girls are said to be safe tonight.
You see criminals all over the country doing horrific, horrible acts, whether it's physical or sexual abuse. When it comes
Just insane. Just, I don't know what to tell you. These people just, I don't know, man.
at the hands of a parent to a child, there's nothing wrong.
It's kind of where I disagree with traditional beliefs. These people here are just absolutely the worst, despicable people. I mean, just terrible people, horrible.
And once again, the house where these alleged crimes to have had happened in, no one inside, but we do hear dogs.
I want to see this. Hold on a second. No soliciting, salesman, fundraising, politics, religion. Thank you. Beware Great Danes on duty. Cowboys. idiots.
Alleged crimes to have had happening. No one inside, but we do hear dogs barking inside. Apparently, the family had a number of animals. Now, both Mosley and Spencer remain in the Camden County Jail with no bail tonight. And once again, it bears repeating that 18-year-old
One or two would be fine. That's funny.
girl and that 13-year-old girl are both safe tonight. Sheba.
Just a haunting story there. All right.
Good to have you here, Miss Kay, for sure.
Right, Chris. Thank you.
All right, we'll play one more because I wanted to play Neighbor Who Helped Teen Escape Captivity Speaks Out. I think this is the one. Sure. Maybe it's this one. Oh, I wanted to play that one too.
We turn now to a scary encounter caught on camera.
Oh yeah, check this one out. I can go back. Hold on a second. This is I wanted to play this one, I think last week. So I'll go back to that in a second. Ariana McMillan, 16, made a quick decision to run to a nearby store and pretend to know the store owner, fleeing a man who said she was being followed by the guy. Check this out. This might be triggering.
A teenage girl fleeing a man who she says was following her, and authorities say she did everything right. Eva Pilgrim is here with that story. Good morning, Eva.
Good morning, Rebecca. Such a scary close call diverted thanks to a quick thinking
Watch this.
teen and two store owners who didn't hesitate to help.
Look at that guy right there.
And this morning, that teen and her mother are speaking out exclusively
Watch this.
to GMA.
This is the
This.
terrifying moment that a 16-year-old Pennsylvania girl says a man started following her.
I kept hearing this guy, but I was just like, it sounds like an older man. I don't think an older man would approach me that way. And he had finally ran up to me.
In this surveillance video obtained by our station WPVI, Ariana McMillan was walking along a busy road outside Philadelphia when she says this man began walking closer and closer to her, making inappropriate comments.
He did have a very large bottle of liquor in his hand.
I'm pretty sure you guys don't want a whole bunch of me, that's for sure. I do want to play the other one though.
And in my eyes, I saw that as a weapon. He pushes me a little bit. We better start walking. And in this moment, I had a sense of panic in my brain that I needed to do something immediately.
The teen, scared, made a quick decision, running to a nearby shop.
I just was like, there's a woman there and I'm gonna run to her. I saw like someone had like a sign in like their yard or something that said something about someone named Rachel. So the name I just
Tina was in Philly
Aunt
that day.
Rachel, Aunt Rachel, is that you?
It distracted whatever that gentleman was trying to do.
Aunt Rachel, actually Tina Moss, a shop owner.
You're too kind. You guys are awesome.
Saw her running toward her, immediately played a
See, I just don't. I mean, I don't know. It's just me, man. But I know everybody's a little different. But my 16-year-old's not going to be walking on the streets by herself. That's for sure. But you know, sometimes you can't stop them.
long, taking the girl inside her store with her husband, Bill.
He followed her directly from the store to the window and banged on the glass.
They called the police. And once they came, he still was banging on the doors and wasn't stopping. And they were trying to arrest him.
The man now charged with stalking and harassment. Christina
He'll get out in 3 weeks.
Pino grateful to those store owners who helped her daughter, visiting the shop to meet the couple.
Thank you. You're welcome. Yeah, and her mom calling those store owners her daughter's guardian.
All right, so I want to go back. Hold on a second. Let me go back.
Developing tonight a disturbing case.
It's this one here. This one right here. Sorry.
Good afternoon.
This is the actual press conference of the one we just covered. Officials share update on the teen escape from New Jersey home where police say she was abused. These people, man.
I'm Prosecutor Grace McCauley.
Look at all the cops, though. Shibby's right. Like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I mean, there's a whole bunch of people. It's just one person. That's all we need.
Joined here today by Gloucester Township Police Chief David Harkins. We're here to announce charges in a heartbreaking case involving a Gloucester Township man and woman who for years confined and abused a child who lived in their home. On Saturday, May 10th, the Camden County Prosecutor's Office Special Victims Unit and the Gloucester Township Police Department.
It's like, where are you going? And I'm going to go with you. That's how I look at it. Teenagers do risky behaviors for sure. And like I said, sometimes there's nothing you can do to stop them, but don't worry, it's just your tax money. True.
Department learned that an 18-year-old female victim had been held captive and sexually abused in her home for years. During our investigation, the victim advised that 38-year-old Brenda Spencer and 41-year-old Brandon Mosley had been abusing her since approximately 2018, and that shortly thereafter, at Brenda Spencer's direction, she was removed from school prior to entering the 7th grade and confined to her home, which helped to hide the heinous, years-long torture that she suffered. The victim stated that she was forced to live in a dog crate for approximately 1 year and let out only periodically. The victim also advised that she was later forced to live in a padlocked bathroom while being chained up. She stated that she would be let out of the bathroom only when family visited the residence. At other times, she was forced to live in a bare room with just a bucket to use instead of a toilet. She explained the bare room had an alarm system that would alert the defendants, Brandon Mosley, and Brenda Spencer if she tried to leave. She reported she was beaten with a belt and sexually abused by Mosley. The abuse occurred for years until she escaped the residence on Thursday, May 8th. She was assisted by a neighbor. She later disclosed the abuse, which was reported to law enforcement. What this young woman survived was...
It's all because of you guys. I appreciate it all. You guys are amazing. But the number is just a number. You guys are great.
Absolutely horrific. After speaking with the victim, our detectives searched the residence and found that the victim was subjected to living in squalid.
If I have 2 subscribers, I'm happy. It's just
filthy conditions alongside numerous animals, dogs, chinchillas, and other animals. Detectives also learned that a 13-year-old young female who lived in the home was also removed from school years earlier at Spencer's direction. Both girls were allegedly homeschooled.
This is just insane. How can this happen? How does this stuff actually happen? It's just like
homeschooling in New Jersey, parents are only required to notify the school district of their intent to homeschool.
I trade it all to make you healthy, Heather, for sure. Heather Brown is just an amazing, wonderful, just awesome person, human being. She's just great person. And we're always here for you all the time, no matter what.
There is no requirements by the New Jersey Department of Education to follow up or to confirm attendance records, minimum instructional time, subjects, or testing. Homeschooling may be the right choice for many families. Unfortunately, it can be used by others as a means to hide abuse. In this case, both Spencer and Mosley were charged on Sunday, May 11th with the following charges. 1 count of first-degree kidnapping.
See, we didn't. My daughter, my older daughter, was homeschooled. She wanted to be homeschooled, and she's brilliant. But the younger one, she wanted to go to school and hang out with friends and stuff like that. And that's fine. I mean, we didn't force them to do anything, but homeschooling isn't for everybody, but it's definitely an option. You guys are awesome. Thank you. You guys are great. Heather's just a freaking amazing person.
Kidnapping. 1 count of second-degree conspiracy to commit kidnapping. 1 count of second-degree aggravated assault.
Wouldn't be a chat without Heather, for sure.
5 counts of second-degree endangering the welfare of a child through abuse and neglect. 1 count of third-degree criminal restraint.
Jeez.
1 count of third-degree aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. 1 count of third-degree possession of a weapon for unlawful purpose. 1 count of fourth-degree unlawful possession of a weapon. Mosley was also charged with the additional offenses: 2 counts of first-degree aggravated sexual assault, 2 counts of second-degree sexual assault, 1 count of second-degree endangering the welfare of a child by sexual contact. On Sunday, May 11th, Spencer and Mosley were both taken into custody at the residence in Gloucester Township. Both were remanded to the Camden County Correctional Facility. Their detentions are scheduled for this Friday.
You guys are amazing, literally. Thank you, though. Paula's awesome too. I can't wait. Paula's going to get 1,000 fairly shortly here. Paula's got great stuff too. Yep, Roblox is awesome. It's like $20 a week.
May 16th at 9 a.m. in Superior Court.
Unfortunately, my daughters are past the Roblox thing, but you know, still good.
Prosecutor, can you talk about the escape and how lucky this teenager is to be out of the situation now?
She doesn't sound like she's from New Jersey.
And what that escape was like and how lucky they were that a neighbor was involved?
She was extremely fortunate. Extremely fortunate. At this time, we're not disclosing all the details. More details will be forthcoming at the detention hearing on Friday.
Prosecutor, are you able to explain the relation between this victim and the 2 individuals who've been charged?
Yes. The female is the mother. The male is the stepfather.
Is the female the mother of both the
Yes.
young girls? Another question just about the timeline leading up to police being involved.
Yes.
I don't know if the chief wants to.
I don't think I've ever seen Roblox actually, but I just when my youngest daughter was from like I'd say 4 to 6, it was Roblox for sure. I don't even know what the hell it is. Paula's awesome. Yeah, Paula's amazing. Great person. She emails me every single Friday, Saturday night. Are you going live? I'm like, yeah. Because I do think I should get better, a little bit better at my notifications, but you know, it's a crazy world, crazy life. So sometimes I don't have a lot of time to do that shit, but I promise to get better.
I talked to the person that was assisting her, the neighbor. And he said that he called 211 first for crisis intervention, then called 911 on Thursday, and police did not assist him at the Wawa. And instead, he had to bring the 18-year-old girl to a rehab facility, ultimately one that has
Oh, yeah, right.
with Jefferson in South Jersey. Are you able to confirm any of those details at all?
Certainly.
Or what police contact was made?
So first I'll say this is one of the most despicable cases that I've ever run across. We were first notified by this individual who had the girl on that Thursday evening. Police did respond. They responded and spoke with the girl, took statement information.
Like I said, the reason why I got wrenches in here, everybody's got wrenches, is just in case you guys have channels, feel free to throw your channels in here because there's a lot of great creators in here. And I try to promote people as much as I possibly can. Thank you guys very much for doing that.
However, she did not disclose all of this abuse that was later. It was reported to us that it was a domestic violence type of situation. However, she did not want to disclose all this information. She did not disclose this information about being held to this level. We did send officers to the house. The house went at that time on Thursday evening. An investigation was conducted. However, we're limited on the amount of area that we can go and search and whatnot. And without a corroborating victim, there's only so much we could do. We offered her services. We gave her some resources at that time. She was looking for homeless services. However, she was going to stay with this neighbor that was assisting. But that all built up into the case that we're here for today.
There's absolutely no reason whatsoever that this stuff shouldn't be legal, in my opinion. I've been on board with that stuff since the beginning of time. It's a plant, for God's sakes. All right, so I do want to get out of this here because I want to play this one here because this ties in with that. This was on It doesn't matter which one I do. It's going to be this one here.
Out of this, an alleged house of
This is the alleged house of horrors here. This has to stop. Stuff like this has to stop.
horrors. Police say a teenage girl in Camden County finally escaped after she was held captive for years. This is the 10 o'clock news. I'm Jason Martinez.
I'm Sheba Russell. The girl's
I like that color on her.
mother and boyfriend are accused of abusing the girl since 2018. Police say the alleged victim, now 18, escaped to her neighbor for help.
One of the most despicable cases that I've ever run across.
Gloucester Township Police disclosing the horrific details today. The suspects identified as 38-year-old Brenda Spencer and 41-year-old Brandon Mosley.
Mosley, identified by SEPTA as a longtime regional rail train engineer, is also accused of sexually abusing the teenager. The details of her alleged captivity, shocking.
The victim stated that she was forced to live in a dog crate for approximately 1 year and let out only periodically.
Can you freaking imagine that? 7 years, right? That's just, this person will never be the same, ever.
The victim also advised that she was later forced to live in a padlocked bathroom while being chained up.
But it all came to an end when the victim escaped last Thursday into the safety of a neighbor. Detectives say the couple was also living in squalor with another 13-year-old daughter. Both girls are said to be safe tonight.
And Steve, you spoke with that neighbor. What did they tell you?
Well, look, this is a shocking, stunning, and sad story for everybody involved, not just for the police here who investigated it, not just for that wonderful woman who lives next door that rescued this little girl, but also on the other side of the Delaware River over at SEPTA for the people that know the man accused. SEPTA just honored him just a few weeks ago for his actions during that train fire at the Kremlin station.
10 o'clock Thursday night, she came knocking on my door, crying, hysterical, and she showed me the marks on her wrists where she had scars.
Next door neighbor Susan, who doesn't want to appear on TV, told Fox 29 News of what she calls the horrific story of the young girl who lived next door and her all-out effort to rescue her. Afraid her next door neighbors would come looking for the victim, Susan says her son let her stay in his car while he took her to places like shelters trying to get her help, eventually taking her to Jefferson Hospital, where she was treated for 2 days.
These people are like heroes. Just amazing.
And authorities there began to hear her story of what Susan was told. Did she tell you that they kept her in a dog crate for a year?
Not for a year. She said they kept her in the dog crate. It was horrific. I thought it was disgraceful. You know, we both were in tears, me and my son. We couldn't believe it.
The Camden County prosecutor revealed that 41-year-old SEPTA train engineer Brandon Mosley and his girlfriend, 38-year-old Brenda Spencer, had been abusing the victim since 2018 when she was just 11 years old. Spencer, they say, removed her from 6th grade and confined her to her home, keeping her in a dog crate for a year, a bare bedroom with only a bucket for a bathroom, and then chained up in a padlocked bathroom.
She told me just recently that they cut her hair and shaved her head for punishment.
Mosley recently was given an award by SEPTA's interim general manager just weeks ago for his actions after a train fire in February. A SEPTA spokesman emailed me tonight that Mosley has worked for SEPTA for 18 years.
So after the fact, right? Like,
now, quote, is under review. He will be held off work indefinitely.
You know, I visit her in the hospital, and tomorrow I'm going to go to the clinic to see her. So it's so sad what she went through.
What's going through your mind now?
It's sickening. I don't know what to think, because you know the people next door, you talk to them, and you never know what's happening in there. It's a disgrace. It's so unreal to me, you know, what's happening right next door to me.
Well, tonight, Mosley faces additional sexual assault charges in addition to all the other multiple charges both he and Spencer face, including kidnapping, conspiracy, aggravated assault, and weapons charges. And Sheba and Jason, you're wondering what the weapons were? Well, they were the belts and horsewhips used to
unbelievable.
beat them.
Just, oh my God. Oh, that stuff makes me angry right there, man.
This poor girl. Prosecutors.
Oh, I didn't want to hear that. Sorry. That's a little triggering. All right, so I do want to go to this case here. It's also not a case. It's kind of, it's funny, but it's not funny. All right, so this happened today. I don't know if anybody's seen this. More observant than the neighbors of that guy in Connecticut. Absolutely. So I don't know if you guys have seen this. This is straight out of Bizarre, right? This is this happened today too. This was in Brooklyn, Brooklyn Bridge here. This is just ridiculous. How does this happen? Here we go. Ready?
Breaking news right now as a harrowing, chaotic scene has developed on the East River. A tall Mexican naval ship has crashed into the Brooklyn Bridge. Rescue crews are converging on the scene. Bodies, hopefully that of survivors, are already pulled from the ship. And more are being pulled, possibly from the water. Good evening. I'm Arthur Chen. Thanks for watching the 10 o'clock news. We're moving everything in our newscast because of what we've just gotten word of, that the Brooklyn Bridge, that it was struck by a large...
Paula, have a good night. Have a great week. You're awesome. Thank you so much for everything you do. Paula's amazing. You're just great. Have a great week. Stay safe. So here's this here.
Ship. Now, all this information, we caution, is coming in right now. What we do know is that a ship has struck the Brooklyn Bridge. There are multiple reports of a lot of injuries. Some of them may be critical. Now, the early information we're getting says that that large ship was going northbound on the East River. That's on the south side of that screen just there before it hit the bottom of the Brooklyn Bridge. Some witnesses say...
How do you do this? How do you not know? Is this ship just out of control here? There's a tug here, right? This is just...
It shook that bridge. The vessel has 3 super tall masts, and all of them, one by one, were sheared off, falling towards the ship, falling towards the water, hitting the top deck, while hitting some other parts, hitting the water. What could only be described as incredible force there. Then it started heading towards the pier. This shot you're seeing now is from the Brooklyn side of this event, the Brooklyn side of the Brooklyn Bridge, just north of it. So it's between the Brooklyn Bridge and Manhattan Bridge, traveling northbound there. People on that pier are clearing away as that ship was approaching them. Now we have crews on our way there. Our Richard Jacobus is already at the scene. Let's get to him right now if we can. As I understand it, Richard, you're on Pier 17, which would put you on the Manhattan side, which is where this vessel was docked just a couple of days ago and probably left Pier 17 tonight.
Is that like Cheech and Chong driving this boat or something? Or
right before this happened. What can you tell us from where you are and what you see there?
Arthur, I can tell you that it is nothing short of chaotic. We are surrounded by first responders and EMS who have been pulling people from the water on the Brooklyn side, but there is a large police presence on this side. As you mentioned, this is a Mexican Navy ship, and let me tell you, when you watch the video, it really looks like something out of Pirates of the Caribbean. Here's a look at that video, and the moment that ship hit the Brooklyn Bridge earlier this evening on a promotion.
I mean, this is just heading straight for the walkway here. Like this guy's completely out of control, and I don't know what the tug's doing here. It's just really, this lady's just posing for the camera here.
Tour here in New York City, the top of its mast brushing the Brooklyn Bridge as it sailed through the East River. We cannot confirm any injuries, but we are hearing that there are at least 3 people in critical condition tonight. You can see the video posted online. It was flying a giant green, white, and red Mexican flag. It's draped underneath of the bridge. The Mexican Navy saying in a post that the Academy training vessel was damaged in the accident in Brooklyn Bridge that prevented it from continuing its voyage. We do not know if anyone on the actual ship was hurt or people who were on the pier when it struck near that bridge. But there were plenty of eyewitnesses, and we have one of them here. I'm going to turn it to Jack Cassidy, who was at an EDM concert on Pier 17. It's a concert venue here. It overlooks the Brooklyn Bridge. You saw this happening in real time. Tell me exactly what you saw, Jim.
So my friends and I, we saw the boat taking off, and we saw some men strapped to the hull, and we thought it was a very interesting thing. So we went to the edge of the Andrew Najeeb concert. We started taking some photos. We were watching it. It was very interesting. They were attached to a tugboat, which we thought was going to take them underneath the Brooklyn Bridge at a safe height. But then it seemed that the boat was drifting backwards towards the bridge, and we thought maybe it would have a collapsible mast or something because it was towards the Brooklyn side and rather low. And then to our horror, it struck the bridge over by the walkway side, and then it collapsed. And from what some people saw, it looked like people fell into the water. All the lights went dead, and we were very concerned.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, when you hear something like that, you almost think, like, is that fake? Is it real? Did you hear any of it?
We weren't able to hear anything over the concert, but it was like an eerie calm came over because the set was going low, and there wasn't any screaming, any yelling. It was just no crashes. It was just silence, darkness, and it looked as if the boat had separated itself from the tugboat, and it was going backwards.
Yeah, it was. It was going backwards because if you look in the video, you can almost see how it's almost like he couldn't go forward to stop whoever was captaining the boat.
It seemed like that, yes. I believe the tugboat was trying to move them because I believe tugboats have to do that avoid this exact scenario and to avoid a Baltimore incident.
Did you see anyone being rescued out of the water? Anyone coming out tonight?
I didn't see anybody coming out of the water, but I heard from EMTs that they were bringing people over here for triage. And on Citizen, there were reports of at least 10 or 12 people going into the water.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy and a frightening night there tonight. Jack, thank you very much. We're going to share Jack's video.
Many times I've been over this bridge here. It's amazing to see something like this actually freaking happen.
With you later in the show. Baron, can you pan over there for me so I can show our viewers, because this is a live look right now. Again, all of this is happening in real time. First responders have been coming in and out of Pier 17 here, in and out of the water, bringing people coming from the waters over to the pier, to ambulances waiting by.
God, now I want a pizza.
Again, we haven't been over there yet, so I can't exactly say who's coming out of the water and if they're pulling anyone from the water from this vantage point. But this is, again, across the way. And what we're hearing now, just to recount for our viewers, a Mexican Navy ship hit the Brooklyn Bridge during a promotional tour here in New York City earlier this evening. We know there are injuries. We know there are people that are in the water. There is a search and rescue operation with the New York City Fire Department underway. And we will, of course, be updating you throughout the newscast. We have eyewitness accounts, more video to show you. It is pretty frightening, and it's something that you have to see to believe. Arthur, we'll send it back to you.
I have a question. When you get Jack or another witness, it looked like there might have been people on the mast. So if you talk to Jack again, can you find out if he saw people who were actually on the mast as it was pulling out from Pier 17? Because that would obviously affect the number of people who were hurt on that vessel. And then the other, if you could take a look at the Brooklyn Bridge, does it look like the distance from the water to the bridge is taller in the middle, or is it taller as it gets to the Brooklyn side, or is it more narrow? Because it seems like if it really wanted to clear that bridge, maybe the highest part would have made more sense. But obviously,
I mean, I don't want to bring up the past, but I remember like how the whole 9/11 thing happened. It was just like a normal freaking day, right? And then people will just 2 people died, the 17 injured. Really? People died, 17 injured. In this one here? In this? With this here? On the ship? Oh, wow. Anyways, going back to my 9/11 reference, I mean, nobody thought anything was going on with that either. I remember, if you watch the old clips of the morning news, everything was going normal, and they didn't even know what it was at first. They didn't even know what was going on. I'll play more of this there, and then I'll get out of here.
Obviously, from what you're describing, maybe that wasn't the intended route.
I don't think it was the intended route, Arthur, because it's hard to see from this vantage point. Remember, we're at quite a distance here on the Manhattan side. I think from what Jack's account is saying, and if you look at all the video that we've been showing to you, it looks like that Navy ship was going backwards. So almost like it couldn't propel itself forward. So this seemed to be an accident or something that just went terribly wrong in those waters on the East River.
All right, so I do want to play. Hold on a second. I'll play one more of this. This one here too. This happened today too. This was in California here. Hold on a second. This a lot of crazy shit this week. Weird stuff.
Terrorism came knocking on the door of Palm Springs.
Now on Eyewitness News at 8 o'clock, terror hits Palm Springs. What's being called an intentional car bomb attack outside a fertility clinic, rocking Palm Springs, hurling debris for blocks, blowing out windows of nearby buildings, and leaving one person dead. Hello, and thank you for joining us. You're watching Eyewitness News at 8, live on ABC 7, Hulu, and wherever you stream. I'm Joey Rand.
And I'm Sophie Flay. Investigators have their hands full tonight with a massive crime scene in the desert. Here's what we know right now. Investigators are calling this an intentional act of violence. Again, one person was killed, at least 4 people are injured. The damage and debris extending over several blocks. Federal and local agencies are involved in the investigation. They have mentioned a person of interest.
We have complete team coverage for you tonight, including a second.
This happened. Hold on. This happened a while ago today, but it did happen. Anytime that guy Agenda TV goes live, it's something bad.
Crime scene in 29 Palms. Eyewitness News reporter Elena Gomez is live there as authorities have locked down a scene out of fear of another explosion. But we begin with Inland Empire Bureau Chief Rob McMillan, who is live in Palm Springs with the latest on the investigation there. Rob.
Just a massive crime scene out here near downtown Palm Springs, covering multiple city blocks. One officer telling me that investigators could be out here for days. As you mentioned, 4 people injured, 1 person killed. Now, the authorities aren't saying anything about the suspect in this case. However, they are saying that the community is no longer in any danger.
A massive explosion right in the middle of downtown Palm Springs. Dozens of windows blown out by the intensity of the blast, shrapnel flying hundreds of feet, tourists and locals alike wondering what was going on.
We heard this loud noise. I shook all over the building.
There was a big bang. Leon Basilio was making a delivery for Uber Eats at the time of the blast. He was close by, so he immediately went to the scene.
As I went in the lot, I seen a car on fire. It was pieces of car. It wasn't a whole car.
Authorities say it's possible that the car was the source of the blast. What they would say is that this was no accident. They believe a fertility clinic. The car was parked right.
He's all right. He is kind of dry, but he, like I said, anytime he's on, there's something really bad happening. It's not good.
Behind was intentionally targeted.
Make no mistake, this is an intentional act of terrorism.
Akil Davis is the assistant director in charge of the FBI's Los Angeles field office. He describes the crime scene as massive.
Let me be clear. This is probably one of the largest bombing investigations that we've had in Southern California. This explosion was
Look at this
significant,
car.
covering.
That was the car. Hold on a second.
Investigations that we've had in Southern California.
That's the car. So there's not much left of this thing. And it looks like it flipped over.
This explosion was significant, covering several blocks, north, south, east, and west.
4 people were injured, 1 person killed. However, the FBI would not comment on whether the person who was killed was an innocent bystander or perhaps their suspect, only saying this.
We have a person of interest in this investigation, but we are not actively out searching for a suspect.
This is an isolated incident.
I think the guy is, whoever was in that car is probably not alive. That's just my opinion.
I am confident that the community is not at risk any longer.
The FBI also investigating whether the blast may have been live streamed somewhere because of what eyewitness Leon Basilio found at the scene.
I saw a tripod with a camera attached to it aimed
That's classic.
directly at the camera where the car was located on fire.
He says he turned that camera over to the police. As for the clinic, the American Reproductive Centers released a statement today reading in part, quote, "We are heartbroken to learn that this event claimed a life and caused injuries, and our deepest condolences go out to the individuals and families affected. This moment has shaken us, but it has not stopped us. We will continue to serve with strength, love, and the hope that brings new life into the world."
This is a place of hope. This is a building that people go to start or expand their families. We acknowledge their pain and concern across the community.
Terrorism came knocking on the door of Palm Springs. We survived.
You just worry sometimes that there's copycat people watching shit like this here, and it just breaks out into a more of a major thing.
And our next update expected from Palm Springs Police tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock. Live in Palm Springs.
So that's the end of that. What are you going to do? It's just really weird. All right, so I'm going to get the hell out of here. You guys have been awesome. You guys are excellent. JP, thanks for coming in. You guys are awesome. If is necessarily evil going live next, Heather, you're awesome. I'll keep following you this week to make sure you're okay, but I'm not stalking you. Heather Brown, you're an amazing freaking person. Always glad to have you here. Always good to see you. Sweet dude, Shibby, you're awesome. Chuck, you're great. I know that Mino Dino was in here. I think I forgot him last week. Dirty Diana, you're amazing. Thank you so much for coming in. You're awesome. Can't wait for your next live. You should probably get some sleep though. Let's see here. Tracy Fleetwood, thank you so much for coming in. Tracy, you're awesome. I always appreciate you coming in. You're great. Thank you. Always good to have everybody in here. Miss K, thank you so much for coming in. Really good to have you here in the chat. Thank you for coming in. Thank you for helping out. Let's see here. Did I do JP's awesome, great channel? Let's see. I know Honeybee was in here. Honeybee's amazing too. Paula's great. Honeybee is just awesome. She's been dealing with a lot of shit too. Charlotte was in here. I know Charlotte's great. Charlotte, love having you in here. Always good to see you. Charlotte's the reason why I go on so late, so that she can join at some point when she, because she's all the way over there. So, let's see here. I know that Kenny was in here. I think that's Curious Dan. Dino was in here. Let's see here. If I miss somebody, I apologize. I'm probably going to forget somebody. Charles Manson was in here. Charles Manson. I know that Ron Logan was in here. I think Ted Bundy was in here. Not sure. See here. I'm probably going to not be able to get to everybody. If I miss somebody, like I said, I apologize. I know Support with Steffa was in here. Support with Steph is awesome. It's always good to see her here in the chat. Who else did I miss? Heavy could be a mod. All right, so I'm probably going to miss some people. I know that we get a lot of people on the replay. Appreciate that a lot. I appreciate everybody who watches on the replay. Bundy said he's late, but he'll be here next time. Awesome. Mod for what? All right, so you guys are awesome. I appreciate everybody coming in. Whatever you do, don't die this week. And have a great week. Everybody stay safe. I'm sure I'll see most of you guys around. You guys are awesome. F the replay crew. All right, let me play my outro. I'll get out of here. You guys are great. I appreciate all your help, all your support. Can't do it without you. Thank you, guys. See you soon. Don't die.